How we living? We in here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired, but you know what? Get a little quick stream in. Get a little quick stream in. You know, a little quick stream. I gotta blow my nose. Give me one sec. Awkward timing. Hello. Oh yeah. We're doing it. We're live. And I need to switch my audio over. That would be a good idea. Oh man. Sweet. Oh, yep. Another Tuesday night on the grind. Got my buddy Nico here with me. Got my buddy Nico. You want to say hi, buddy? You want to say hi? Don't watch the cord. Got my buddy Nico here to say hi. He hates when he's on his hind legs. He don't like it. We got to get you groomed, buddy. Get you groomed, buddy. We'll take care of you. Give me the hug. Yeah. Yes, Gabe, that is a fluffy dog indeed. He's a fluffy guy. But that's why he needs a haircut, especially we're getting into the summer. We got to get him a little haircut as the spring and the summer arises. You know, a little hot out here. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. We might do a little short stream tonight because I'm a little tired. I got a little headache, but trying to be consistent. Coming on Tuesdays and Fridays for sure. So we in it, and we just see what happens. You know, just see what happens. Chicken Nugget joined on. I love that. That's a great name. Chicken Nugget. Chicken Nugget. Oh yeah, buddy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why he's looking at me like that? Look at him. Look at his face. What? What? Yes, he's such a goofball. Such a goofball. All right. Well, you know, starting to get the stream going. Appreciate y'all already getting the likes up. That's what we need. Get the stream out there, you know. Get the stream out there. Make it happen, Captain. Make it happen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of tired. My nose is not feeling great. I'm a little worried that I'm getting sick, but we'll see. See how I feel in the morning. We will see how I feel in the morning. In the meantime, how we doing? How we living on this Tuesday night? We're living the dream. Living the dream. We're doing good. That's what's up, Sasuke. That's what's up. Doing good. That's what we need, you know. I'm not gonna lie. All in all, I really can't complain. I can't complain. I am tired. Just a long day, but somebody get in here, have a little conversation with me. That'll help wake me up a little bit, you know. But like I said, even though I'm tired, trying to just be consistent. Tuesdays are kind of a long day for me. Like my wife's already in bed, trying to go to sleep. But who's more powerful, Itachi or Roman soldiers? I'm gonna take Itachi 10 times out of 10. 10 out of 10. We're going Itachi. I don't know if Roman soldiers is is squaring up with Itachi. Get him in the genjutsu, and it's over. It is over. Golden Sun. Who's the heretic that you see? Is it Itachi? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can be a Cowboys fan and a Christian. And I mean, unfortunately, because it has been, it has been full of sorrow. Yeah, it has been full of sorrow these last couple of years. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's been annoying. The young apologist, what's up? What's your question? Um, yeah, the Cowboys fandom. Honestly, this hood because they've been so bad. This hoodie was super cheap. That's why I bought it. Right now, it's actually been a sad sports year for Dallas fans because the Mavs. Granted, we got Cooper Flag, but they're not going to make the playoffs or anything, and so. Um, uh, Ravens for life. How would I tackle young apologists over on YT asked how I would tackle the conscious editing argument. I mean, there's a few different things that I would I gotta get a drink. There's a few different things that I would throw out. Hamwater, I would never become a Spurs fan. It actually pains me to see them doing well. But the conscious edits argument, right? That's that the Quran consciously edits the Torah and the Gospel. Well, one, that's still based out of general confirmation, which I think doesn't exist um, uh, in the Quran anywhere whatsoever. So it's attacking that. Like the Quran just affirms the Bible, the Torah, and the Gospel. Period. Two, I think when it comes to conscious edits, they then bear the burden of proof, right? So they're going to have to bring something to say, look, the Quran is consciously editing, and then I just pick whatever that is apart. Like their examples are terrible. And then if you want, you can throw in the fact that like in Surah 2, um, in Surah 2, when they tell the story of Mary giving birth to Jesus, they add in apocrypha texts. Like there's just different times where they get things confused, and so there's just no good reason to believe that Muhammad was consciously editing the scriptures. Not to mention, apparently he couldn't read or write anyways. So it's just much more plausible. I'm not going to flip it. It's much more plausible that he was just hearing things and either um, forgot the stories that he heard and made them up along the way, or B, um, he just didn't know. He thought that what he was saying agreed with in the Quran with the Bible. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot there. So. Um, Hold on, I'll read a few more comments. Somebody asked me something. You don't need to run the conscious edits to bake the Islamic dilemma. Want to debate? Are you for or against the Islamic dilemma? Oh, it looks like you're Muslim. Okay. How's it going? I'm doing well. Just living my best life, man. Oh, yeah, if you want to. I mean, I could say it. Let's see. The Bible confirms. Sorry, I'm tired. The Quran confirms the previous scriptures, but the previous scriptures contradict the Quran. Therefore, the Quran is false. Or, like Muslims claim, that the previous scriptures have been corrupted, and therefore the Quran affirms corrupted scriptures, therefore making it false. It's like a general way to say it. Yeah, 100%. It's absolute. Yeah, all of the texts in the Quran that that point to it being absolute. Yeah. Surah 3:3, he sent down upon you the book in truth, confirming what was before it, and he revealed the Torah and the gospel. Right. So the Torah and or the Quran is sent down, right, and it confirms the Torah and the gospel. Well, two things. One, 279 does not say the scriptures are corrupted, and two, I don't care what Ibn Abbas says. No, this is an internal. I feel like y'all don't get. This is an internal critique of the Quran, not of Islam. I know the title's Islamic Dilemma, but this is only ran through the Quran. Does that make sense? Yes, it's an internal critique of the Quran, not all of Islamic thought. Does that make sense? Yeah, like let me put it like this. Of course, Ibn Abbas, a couple hundred years later, realizes, oh crap, like this isn't. We're not rocking with the Quran is corrupted. Are the Bible's different from the Quran? Like, of course, there's issues here.
In order to find any internal inconsistency within. Since I accept the Quran and you're doing an internal critique on my position, which is taking the Quran,
Right.
you would have to grant my position, which would also include taking from Ibn Abbas, since he's an authoritative figure for us in exegesis.
No, it
that's
doesn't.
what. And
so if you granted the Christian paradigm and you said the Bible's true, and then does that mean you have to then listen to every exegete that's ever been done from the Bible, every exegete I bring up? No,
I will just have to grant. I'll just have to grant your worldview and then find inconsistencies within the actual worldview.
Okay, so whatever argument you've heard before, like erase that. I'm giving an internal critique of the Quran. So I don't care what Ibn Abbas says. I don't care what Ibn Kathir says. I know that later on they figured out they messed up and had to backtrack. I totally get that. The Quran and the God of the Quran affirms his previous books, the Torah and the Gospel. Full stop. And if you say they're corrupted, then welcome to the other side of the Islamic dilemma.
Great. Now you have to grant my worldview, since this is an internal critique. When we say grant my worldview, this doesn't necessitate, for example, oh yes, an Arby's burger is going to be the best burger in the entire world. It would be the case that you have to grant my position qua the topic at hand. The topic at hand is revolving around the principles of Islam, such as the Quran, for example. And one thing that I do in my position, qua inside the Islamic position, would be taken from Ibn Abbas, since he's an authoritative figure, qua exegesis for us. So again, you saying, but I'm critiquing the Quran. Sure, you critiquing the Quran entails critiquing a principle of Islam, which means that you have to grant my position, which entails taking from Ibn Abbas. So now that I've already clarified, you have to grant my position, which means
I've already rejected that.
Okay, can you justify how I'm going to be wrong?
You need later. You need commentaries coming hundreds of years later.
No, this is a hadith. This is from the time of the Prophet. This is from the time of the Prophet.
Hadiths are not the time of the Prophet. They come hundreds of years later.
Wait, are you talking about the written text or the actual oral tradition? Because we have an isnad, right?
Dude, the oral tradition, I know that Muslims take it seriously, but like the oral tradition in terms of critical scholarship is like the hadith science is not a sufficient way of believing something being historically documented. I completely reject them. I only bring them up sometimes to show you how ridiculous they are, show Muslims what they say, but like
I can bring Orientalists right now.
I don't know if you're like, can you still man me and what I'm saying? I'm only doing a critique of the Quran,
Yeah, you're
not of all
critiquing the
of Islam.
Quran. Great. When you critique the Quran and I take from the Quran, you would in turn be critiquing my position, correct?
I don't care. I don't care what your position is.
No, that's no. That's not what I asked you because you're saying you're critiquing the Quran. If my position entails
So,
taking from the
so
Quran,
let's say,
wait
let's say let's say,
one second.
finish
I'm
it.
taking from the Quran. That's my position. Would you say that you're critiquing my position, which entails the Quran?
No, I'm saying I'm critiquing your position, which is probably general confirmation, right? Is that your
Wait, you're
position?
critiquing my wait. If you're critiquing my position and you're saying you're doing an internal critique, you have to grant my position to show any inconsistency within. My position entails taking
Is
from Ibn
your
Abbas. Thank you
position
for the concessions. And now
is
let's
your
go with Ibn Abbas.
position is your position general confirmation or general confirmation?
Yeah, but I want you to make the justification
Right.
it's absolute since you made the positive claim first.
Yeah, and so that's what I want to do. I want to debate the Quran, and you're trying to bring in a source for your position. I'm just saying I reject your source.
Okay, wait, then it's not an internal critique anymore. I don't care what you reject because
It's
it's
an
my
internal
position.
critique of the Quran.
Okay, and now I'm just gonna clarify this for you since you're not tracking. Okay, does
I'm
my
track no,
position?
I'm tracking with what you're saying.
Just calm
But
down
what
there,
I'm saying
sir.
is I reject what you're presenting, and I'm bringing you
Okay,
into the internal critique that I'm giving, not of
sir.
all Islamic thought, just the
Okay,
Quran. If you want to bring in a source like Ibn Abbas, I'll listen to you and then go, I don't believe him. I think
okay. I
he's
want to tell you
having
this
to
right now.
make up some things in order to fix what has clearly gone wrong between the
Okay, I want to tell you
Quran
one
and the
thing.
previous scriptures.
Is the Quran entailed with Islam?
Yes.
Okay, if you're critiquing your position, do you have to grant the interlocutor's position
Say
just
that
to show
again.
any inconsistency within? In an internal critique, do you have to grant the interlocutor's position just to show there's any inconsistency within? You don't have to agree with it. You just have to grant the position for the sake of the argument to show any inconsistency within.
But I'm not granting any. That's what agreeing is, right? You're just granting it for the sake of, like, I'm not granting anything that Ibn Abbas
No,
says.
that's not what I'm saying. This since the Quran is entailed with Islam, that's what I'm gonna ask. In an internal critique, if you're critiquing something, you have to grant the interlocutor's worldview.
I don't grant your view.
It's a yes or no. It's not. It's so if you're doing an internal critique, you don't have to grant the interlocutor's
I'm
worldview.
doing an
Okay, that
internal
is
critique of the Quran. Can you like
okay.
repeat
And this
that
is
for me? You picking up what I'm saying? Not of
yeah, and
all
this is
of
what I'm saying.
Islam.
Is the
Okay, I
Quran an
don't care
entailment
what the
of
Hadith
Islam?
say. Do you
Great.
hear that?
Is the Quran an entailment of Islam? Yes or no? Proper dichotomy.
A what?
Is the Quran an entailment of Islam?
An entailment?
Yes. Is it entailed with Islam?
Yeah.
Great. And an internal critique. When you're critiquing your thing, do you have to grant the person's position when you're doing an internal critique? It's a yes or no.
No, I'm arguing against your position.
Oh,
Your position
wait.
is that it's general confirmation. My
Okay.
position is that it's absolute. I'm not granting your position. And then you're bringing up a
Great.
source to back up your position, to which I'm rejecting because I want to get back to the Quran, which you're avoiding, which I totally
Now
get
this
why
is
you would do
absolutely
that. I
funny.
totally
Yeah, this.
understand that. Now, do you want to talk about the Quran or not? I can move on to someone else.
I'll tell you how this is funny because
Oh, okay.
according to logic and philosophy, when you're doing an internal critique, you have to grant the interlocutor's position. That's what an internal critique is based upon. When you grant their position, you find an inconsistency within their position. But since it's the case that you said you were doing an internal critique, but now you don't have to grant my position and find an inconsistency within, that's a P and not P. You're doing an internal critique and then not doing an internal critique. This is absolutely stupid from you.
Okay, then just leave.
Why? I want to actually engage with a proper
Okay, then
argument.
let's look at the Quran. All I'm doing
Yeah,
here is making you come back to the Quran, because your position is that it's a general confirmation, and then you're running outside of the Quran in order to try to make that position,
great.
which is why I reject where you're going. You see that? I'm going to stick to the Quran, and I'm going to show you that you hate what the Quran says about your position.
Yeah,
You
but my
can't.
position also
I'm
entails
team
taking from
Allah.
Hadith.
I'm team Allah. I'm team Quran. You're the one who has to run away from the Quran
Yeah,
in
but I'm
order to
telling you,
try to deal with
but my
this.
position entails taking from the Quran and Hadith.
And I'm rejecting that. That's the whole point.
So you're rejecting my position while you're doing an internal critique. Can I just get a yes on that? It's a yes. Can I just get a yes on that? You're rejecting my position while doing.
You understand what an internal critique is.
No, you're saying you're doing
an
an
internal critique
on the
is
Quran.
I'm critiquing your position. Of course, I don't accept it.
Oh, does my position entail taking from the hadith?
Your position is that the Quran is general confirmation. You're going to try to use the hadith to justify that, and I'm bringing you back to the Quran. That's all that's happening here. I reject the hadith.
You reject the hadith. I don't care what you reject because it's the position that you're critiquing.
We're going in circles, man.
You actually buns at this, bro. What a blunder.
All right, do you want to deal with the Quran or not? Because I have no problem with the Quran here.
I just gave you a Quranic ayah.
You're the one that wants to go away from it. That's all I'm doing here is trying to keep
I'm not a Quranist. Okay? I'm not a Quranist. I gave you a Quranic verse. I gave you a Quranic verse, and now I provided a hadith as well to show you what the Quranic ayah means. Since you're basically not understanding, and since Ibn Abbas is an authoritative figure for us in exegesis, I would accept him. So I have a question. You don't even know the laws of an internal critique. You both said you're critiquing my position, and then you're not critiquing my position. This is absolutely buns and stupid. So again, I'll tell you again. Since you're critiquing my position, since an internal critique, you have to grant the opponent's position and then critique their worldview, showing inconsistency within. So now, since I take from Hadith and Quran, I'll show you the Hadith, Sahih Bukhari 7363, stating your scriptures are corrupt with the exegesis of 279.
I can't. I'm awake now. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
did you enjoy that?
Oh, where'd he go?
I kicked him, dude. Like I couldn't, man. I couldn't.
The kid runs from me all the time. Listen,
we were going in circles.
Right. Number one, that hadith, I would bake him on it. He doesn't know. They're relying on a mistranslation on the English. The Arabic says something different. Ibn Abbas's hadith. Secondly, Ibn Abbas in 4 other places says that the previous scriptures were not corrupted. 4 other places. So you got 4 to 5 other places. Even if we grant him what it says in that hadith, so you got 5 other times he's speaking against it. Second, do not come up here, children of Muslims who come up here on TikTok lately and start talking about you don't know what an internal critique is, the laws of internal critique. The laws of internal critique would cancel out general confirmation. The laws of internal critique does not permit conscious edits. The laws of internal critique says that you cannot have any new assumptions. That means you cannot introduce new doctrines that were not already existing. 2025 is when general confirmation and conscious edit walks in. So if you're going to sit down and try to teach us the laws of internal critique, at least go research it. No ad hoc stuff you can use according to the laws of internal critique. There are actually, just go on Google, folks. Just put in there, what are the laws of internal critique? Yeah. He wouldn't be able to use his conscious edits, his general confirmation. None of the stuff he'd be able to use.
It was just an excuse to run from the argument, but whatever. Hey, so are you a Muslim? Right. Do you agree? Do you disagree with the prompt?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Muslim, yeah.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about Jesus not being God, or being God, or do you want to talk about
look, this is the thing. I don't think Jesus is God, because if you're telling me that Jesus is God, and didn't Moses split the sea? And didn't Abraham? Yes, he did.
No, God did it. Like Moses is the one he uses, but like this is God that does it.
But you're saying that Moses is God. I mean, Jesus is God, right on your thing.
Well, in the Gospels, it says that the Son of God's voice will be the one to judge, the believers and non-believers. He's actually doing his own actions that only God can do. Unlike Moses.
Yeah, but wasn't Jesus saying he was praying to God? He was praying 5 times. If you read that in the Bible, the Quran,
have you read the Bible?
I have read the Quran.
Yeah, Jesus doesn't pray 5 times a day in the Bible.
Okay, has Jesus ever said in the Bible he is God?
Yes.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
Which, you know how much Bibles they've created? They've created 4 different versions of the Bible. They created a Gen Z Bible. Search that up. Search up Gen Z Bible.
Do you want to see where he says that he's God or no?
Yeah, let me see it.
There's a Quran for kids. They created a Quran for kids.
Yeah.
There's a Gen Z Bible.
Yeah. What is a Gen Z Bible? It's a Quran for kids.
Okay.
Gen
actually
Z
have Quran.
Bible. It's not a Quran.
There's
It's a
a-
Bible.
Well, who cares about
you
that?
have a yeah. Who cares? They make
They're basically
translations
making fun of the Bible.
Let's
the
let's look
original
at let's look
transcripts
How
at
are
about you
Jesus.
watch the
manuscript.
Gen Z Bible video? Look what they're saying.
Let's look at Jesus talking.
Oh
here.
my God.
Okay. So Jesus in Revelation 22, he says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, and the beginning of the end. According to the Quran, who's the first and the last?
God.
And Jesus says this about himself.
The Bible is false. The Bible is like I'm not saying the Bible is
Wait,
false.
don't shift the goalpost though. Admit that Jesus is claiming to be God here. Because you said he doesn't in the Bible, and now I've showed you a verse where he does. So at least
What
acknowledge
what is that thing that you're using? Like you could write that yourself.
BibleGateway.com.
Why don't you read the Bible? Like the one that actually, do you have the Bible with you?
You want me to open it up to Revelation?
Yeah, open it up. And also search up.
Jesus says, starting in verse 12, behold, I'm coming soon, bringing my recompense with me to repay each for what he has done. I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, and the beginning and the end. We're reading the same thing, but
So he's saying that he's the Alpha
and the Omega.
Who created Jesus?
No one.
So he doesn't have a mother?
No. Not in the
So
sense
Mary
of,
wasn't his mother.
not
So
in the
Mary
sense of
didn't birth
creation,
him?
right? He's incarnated.
Did Mary birth him though?
Yeah, he's incarnated. But
He
you
was
asked who
birthed,
created
though.
him. You asked who created him. He wasn't
Okay.
created by a mom and a
Search
dad.
up this on the Bible. Does Jesus sleep?
Yeah.
How come it says also God does not sleep?
What verse?
Search it up.
You don't even
Search it up.
know the references.
I know what I'm saying. Search it up.
You don't know the references.
You have it on your computer so you can show everybody. Search it up. You'll see it. Search up, does God sleep? Search up, does God sleep?
Let me ask you this question, because this is what it boils down to. Do you think that that God can incarnate into a man? Yes or no? Is it possible for God to do that?
He's possible to do anything. He could do anything and everything.
Okay,
He's the almighty creator. He created everything.
Awesome. So then you should have no problem with the position that God became man.
So you're saying that God became Jesus?
That God became man. Jesus is just his name. He didn't become Jesus.
So he became a man. Who is that? Who is he?
It's the Son of God.
So you're saying, so if Jesus and God had a conversation, what would they talk about?
What does that matter?
No, like you're saying that he's God and God is God. You're saying God is God and Jesus is God. What do they talk about though? I mean, they're the all-knowing of everything. They both know everything.
Then do they
right?
even need to talk to each other?
Yeah, but he's the Son of God. Why wouldn't he talk to him? So he should know everything and he knows everything. So you're saying that. So you're saying that Jesus
literally says everything that the Father does, I do. Like,
what do they talk about?
let me ask you this: whether they talk or not, does that dictate whether or not Jesus is God?
It doesn't make sense. How can they talk? How can two gods talk?
Have you just like heard this on TikTok somewhere or what?
No,
only one
it's the
God.
truth. How can two gods talk?
They're not two gods, number one.
Yeah,
Number
it's
two,
only
the
one God.
conversation taking place is they express love to each other. So they have a lot of, they can communicate. We don't know all the conversations that take place, but we know that before creation, they had to express their love to each other. So they communicate. Now, if two people, for example, even among humans, even if you know everything, for example, a human, one, knows everything about a TV show. And a human two knows everything about that same human show, but they can still talk to each other about it. They both seen the latest episode. They both saw everything on it, but they still talk about it. That doesn't mean because you already have knowledge about it, you can't talk to each other. That doesn't.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? It doesn't. It's not a blocker from having a communication. Let me ask you something. Are you a Muslim, by the way, Ace?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you. How do you honor Allah?
It's more of you pray. It's like we're slaves. We're basically slaves right now.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's not a trick question. Just tell me, like, how do you honor Allah? You pray. That means you worship Him. What else?
You pray. You fast. You give sadaqah.
Yeah, absolutely right. Spot on.
Be respectful.
Can you honor Allah without worshiping Him?
No.
No, right?
It's like you're saying. It's like you're saying. Can you do a job without working? No.
You're right. I'm agreeing with you, brother. I'm agreeing with you. There's no way, no how. If I tell me if you agree with me. There's no way, no how you can honor Allah without worshiping Him. Right?
Yeah.
Great. So in John 5:23, it says that if you must honor the Son just as you honor the Father, and if you don't honor the Son, then you do not honor the Father.
Chloe, let Sam up.
Huh?
You're like a Sam.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, the Arabic.
Hey, listen.
Let him up.
Listen.
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're not bringing anybody up.
No, you guys got two. It's 2-on-1. Bring him up.
No, it's not 2-on-1. I'm just asking a question. One, okay? It's not 2-on-1. It's not like we're bombarding you. We are being very nice and cordial with you. So now,
we're not going to bombard you.
You just said that you cannot honor Allah without worshiping Him.
Mm-hmm.
In John 5:23, it says, you must honor the Son just as you honor the Father. And if you do not honor the Son, then you do not honor the Father.
You think I don't honor Jesus? I honor Him as a prophet. Yes, he's a prophet. Like Muhammad is a prophet. Like Isa is a prophet. Like Moses is a prophet.
Can I? Oh my God.
No, yeah.
One day.
We can't have a conversation. No, that wasn't.
That just went whoosh across his head.
That's just a guy who he needs to study up a little bit more before he comes and just starts talking about these things. How's it going?
Hello?
Oh, I like that name, Marwan. Marwan is very famous in Islam. Do you know that?
You talking to me?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Did you know Marwan is extremely famous guy. Who is he in Islam? Just out of curiosity.
Marwan ibn Hakam.
I know it. Who is he though? Who was he?
Bro, I'm not here. I'm like, with all due respect, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the
I'll just give you just a side knowledge, just a fun fact, fun thing. Marwan was the Emir of Medina. He was very close to Uthman. He's the guy who destroyed the original Quran and burnt it because he said Uthman's Mus'haf is different than the original Mus'haf. He's the guy who put the fake Quran in your hands to begin with. He's the one who destroyed the original one. He's a famous guy. You got a nice name. I like that name, Marwan.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
All right. So, Coley, do you want to talk about the Trinity? Do you want to talk about the prompt? What do you want to talk
about? If Jesus is God. So.
Yeah. So, my argument. I have multiple arguments on why Jesus is not God, but let's start off with it's impossible for a God to become man.
Based off what standard?
Yeah, so let me just give you a quick analogy. Why do you believe God can become man? Just like why? So we can go from there.
He's asked you, what do you believe he can?
I'm building it off of his, so I'm asking him first.
No, you made the statement. You have to prove it.
Yeah.
Yo, respectfully, I'm trying to talk to Colby.
There's already evidence that he did it, so I'm looking back.
Okay, I'll give you the argument why. So if God were to become man, that would contradict his nature.
Then your Allah lied.
Bro, I'm not respectfully. I'm trying to talk to one person at a time.
Based off what?
Can I talk to Coley only, please?
In your Quran, your Allah says he could have a son. He just chooses not to. Can
I talk to Coley only, please?
See, they always run from me, dude, on this stuff.
Yeah, man, you're so scary, man.
Right, but doesn't it say in your Quran, your Allah says that he could have a son? He just chooses not to have one.
Can I talk to Coley, man?
You saying it's against his nature, so that means you're saying Allah lied. Now, why are you afraid to answer that? I mean, it's a fair point, right? Isn't it?
Mainly Tuesdays and Fridays, orange juice. Marwan, what is it that's contradicting his nature?
Yeah, would you agree that a human is limited?
Sure.
Would you agree? Yeah, would you agree God is unlimited?
Yeah.
Can two contradictory things exist simultaneously?
Yeah, you're assuming that he changed natures. That would be the problem. This is a false equivalence to what's
You
happening.
believe in the hypostatic union, correct?
Yeah, he took on a second nature.
Yeah. So, is the two natures in the hypostatic union, are they contradictory?
No. The
They're
nature
not?
of the nature of God and the nature of humans are not contradictory to one another. They're different, but they don't directly oppose one another.
Define
That
nature of
doesn't
God.
make any sense.
Define the nature of God.
You define the nature of God.
Yeah,
What are you talking
unlimited, unlimited, eternal, all that good stuff. The
Okay.
nature of you would the exact opposite. Let me ask you this. Can I be all knowing and not know something?
No.
Me, like
What?
a person.
So that's
Define
not
a
what Jesus
contradiction.
is.
Sorry?
Wait, I think you have to define contradiction first.
Yeah,
You
like
give the
the-
definition
the-
of a contradiction.
The law of non-contradiction,
Yeah.
P and not P. And I
Right.
can give you an
No,
example.
that's not it. That's not it. There's more to it. Just not P and not P.
I
There's
can
more
give you
to
a
it.
quick. I respectfully, I said I want to talk to Coley only. This is my last time.
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to him.
but
Okay.
you need to give us the law. Listen.
No, I'm
not
gonna
on
say
the
this.
panel, okay?
This is my last time
okay.
answer. All right, let me speak. Let me speak.
Give us
Let me
the
speak.
definition of a contradiction. The full
Alright.
definition of it.
All right, listen. This is my last time talking to you respectfully. I'm trying to talk to the host. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this, and respectfully, I'm not gonna talk to you. Okay. The law of
I don't care what you think, man.
Yeah. So basically, what a contradiction is two things that can't simultaneously exist at once.
Cool.
Nope, that's wrong. You know that's a wrong
Not.
definition.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
You haven't given the full definition.
What's the full definition?
No, I'm not going to do this for you. You come up here
Bro,
and you make a claim that is
Cole,
contradictory.
respectfully, bro, I'm not
that
trying to
is
talk to
okay.
you. This dude is brain
Okay,
dead.
so this guy, this
I
kid doesn't
invited
know what
Jay-
the
Yo,
law
it's a
of
two,
contradiction
bro.
is.
It's a 2v1. Can I speak to the host, please? Like, why?
It's
why
not
just
2v1. I'm just asking you for a definition.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying. Why am I talking to two people at once? Can I talk to the host? I don't
Okay.
want to talk to you. Respectfully,
Okay.
bro.
Let me give it to
My
this
God,
kid.
man.
Okay, this child. Okay, a thing
For sure,
cannot both be. Shh. Learn from me now. A thing cannot both be and not be in the same sense at the same time.
That's literally what I said.
No, you did. You said P and not P. It can't be.
Yeah, what did I say right after that?
And B.
What did I say right after
You never
that?
said Did you say in the same sense and at the same time?
I said, yo, Cole, did I not say two things that can't simultaneously exist? Did I say that or not?
Right, but in the same sense and at the same time is an important addition.
Bro,
So
can I
you've
talk
got
to Coley, man?
You've got two natures that are not
That's true.
there in the same
Marwan,
sense.
Just
Yeah.
make your argument. Make your point on why you think Jesus is not God.
Yeah. So back to my main argument. I think it would contradict God's nature for him to become man. That's basically the argument.
So do you don't think that anything could take on a second nature?
Can you further elaborate on what you mean by that?
Could something that has a certain nature then take on a second nature? Whether it be like a human taking on another nature, or an animal taking on another nature, or God himself.
If they're not contradictory, sure, I guess.
Okay, what is the thing that you're defining is contradictory?
Yeah. Would you say that being unlimited negates being limited?
Sure.
Yeah. Is Jesus' human nature limited?
You realize this doesn't work, right?
How about, let me ask you this: is the person Jesus limited or unlimited?
Unlimited.
The person Jesus is unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you agree that if the person Jesus lacks any essential properties of God, he won't be God?
He doesn't lack any essential properties of God.
That's not what I asked.
I don't care. I'm just telling you, he doesn't.
No, I'm just saying. Would you agree that if he lacks any essential property of God, he won't be God? He can't be God.
He doesn't lack any. That's why.
Yeah,
he's
I know,
God.
But like, can you at least answer the? So I'm guessing you would say
no, because like you're trying to lead me somewhere, and I'm just not letting you. Right. So I'm saying he doesn't lack any essential properties. What is Jesus like? What does Jesus lack? Let's look at Colossians 1, and then you tell me what Jesus lacks in being God.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You want me to tell you now?
No, we're gonna look at the Bible. We're gonna look at the Bible. I call this Muslim Sunday school. So that's what we're doing. Saddle up. So this is called the preeminence of Christ. He's the image of the invisible God. So off the top, Paul's already saying that he's God. The firstborn of all creation, which is just a title, right? Because we're going to see all things were created in heaven and on earth, invisible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, rulers and authorities, all things were created through him and for him. So what essential properties is Jesus lacking when he's literally the creator and ruler over all things?
Yeah. So if you were to answer my question, I would go on from the argument, but you're just like not answering my question. It's just a simple yes or no.
He doesn't lack the essential properties.
Yeah, but listen,
I know,
listen,
because here's the thing. I'm just breaking your script. Like there's a way that you want to go, so you can try to box me in. I've seen these arguments a million times, and I'm just jumping out of that. I'm showing you who Jesus really is.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
Okay. And can I be 100% honest with you? Can I just be 100%
Yeah.
honest? Metaphysics has nothing to do with why you don't believe Jesus is God. It's just because the Quran says he's not.
Really?
Yes, that's it.
All right.
Your whole
All right,
basis
all right.
is in the Quran says so. Like that's your
All right.
position. If the Quran said he was God, would you still be having these arguments?
What you said? What?
If the Quran said he was God, would you still be having these arguments?
Hypothetically, I mean,
No, that's it. Your argument is based in the Quran. It's not based in
I mean, I don't think.
because both of our worldviews, think about this, is we look at our scripture and we believe our scripture is true, and then we make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. And so there's metaphysical arguments that people try to present, like the logical problem of the Trinity. And then there's other metaphysical arguments that people try to present to go, no, there's not a problem there, right? That's all that's happening.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Yeah, so I would agree with you if God the Almighty, yeah, I would agree with you, but I would never think that God would ever say such a thing, but I'll move on from there. So you say you use your scripture to hold up, I gotta know. You said you use your scripture to know if Jesus is God or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know this verse already. Can you pull up Mark 13:32?
Yeah. You lucky.
You got us. You got us there.
He's bringing us something original.
We're gonna.
Yeah. So, are you one of those people that take the interpretation of declare?
I think there's. What the heck happened? Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. There's your screen's bugged.
We're back. I don't know what I did there. Sorry, I don't ever like to just pick one verse. I like to have the passage so we can get context. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Always a wise decision. Right. So it says, but concerning the day or the hour, no one knows, not even the angels in the heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, keep awake, for you do not know when the time will come. Right. So he's talking about the time of judgment. Right. I'm actually agnostic because I think there's multiple different explanations for this passage within Christianity.
Okay, what explanation would you say holds up the best?
I mean, I think in a declarative sense is a fine argument that Jesus does know the hour. Yeah. And I can,
sorry?
I can show you why.
No, okay. So would you say yeah, can you mute Jay? There's something wrong with his mic.
I'll make myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So would you say that the word declare applies to the other people in this context?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
so
the angels.
Sorry?
Yeah, not even the angels. Right?
No. So the angels,
right
would you say that what was that?
Yeah, you could say they don't have the right to declare or no.
So
right,
okay.
Because if you look in the verse, what you're seeing is there's a level of authority that Jesus holds above the angels. So you don't want to equivocate them. That's not what's happening in this passage. Not even the angels, nor the Son. He's above the angels.
So only the Father could declare, right?
Yeah.
Only the Father, right?
Yeah, and I can show you why.
Yeah, okay. No. I agree with you. But yeah, what's the name? So for the parable that Jesus gives right after, your screen is not on the thing no more.
Yeah, I know. I'm pulling up another verse. It's important.
Yeah, so can you scroll down a little bit? No, go to 34.
34.
I think. Yeah, so it is like read that and then tell me if you still think it's about declare.
Yeah, it says it's like a man going on a journey when he leaves home and puts his servants in a charge, each with his work, and commands the doorkeeper to stay awake. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening or at midnight, or whether the rooster crows or in the morning, lest he comes suddenly and finds you asleep. And what I say to you shall say, stay awake. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Jesus, though. He's the master.
Yeah, does the master know when he's coming back?
he's the master that's coming back.
So
Parable actually cooks you. It says that the master knows when he's coming back. Yeah. So Jesus knows he's the master.
Yeah, Jesus is the one coming back.
That cooks you. That parable cooks you. 36.
Yeah.
Does he know?
He's teaching
Jesus
the
is the master.
disciples. He's telling the disciples to stay awake, not Jesus.
all right, can you scroll back up a little bit?
Oh, no, stay there. Stay there, Coley.
I mean, we
Right
could
there, the
go
parable
back.
Yo, why is
Actually,
this?
that's what it-
Why is there
we-
respectfully? Why is there a cheerleader in the back,
You
man?
know? So
Dude,
you
it's
brought
fine.
us
Look,
to this
but
parable.
no, let's just know, like,
My
look
God,
you
man.
just
who it's
cooked yourself
directed-
on this parable.
Look who it's directed to. Be on guard, right? So it's directed to the disciples. For you do not know when the time will come. Jesus is not talking about himself here. And I just want to point this out.
So when you
Right. This is the conversation that Jesus has with Peter, that disciple whom Jesus loved, therefore said to Peter, it is the Lord. This isn't even the right verse. 17, not 7. This is Jesus talking to Peter. It says, and he said to him a third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved because he said to him a third time, do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And Jesus said to him, feed my sheep. So Peter acknowledges that Jesus knows everything. Some versions say all things, and Jesus doesn't reject it. And this is the resurrected Jesus.
okay, can you go back to Mark 13:32, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the proof that okay, you said that. So you're taking like the declarative view, and you're saying that basically we're going to substitute the word know for declare, right? And then considering the parable, can you scroll down a little bit? Yeah. So keep awake, for you do not declare when the time will come. It's like a man going on a journey. Do you agree that the word declare fits within this context in the parable?
I mean, they definitely don't declare when the time will come.
Do you think?
Why,
Okay.
why would they?
That's not the only interpretation.
Yeah,
though.
and
He
is that
started
and
off.
why?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm
would
taking
we-
one interpretation at a time.
Why would we assume in any sense that they would know?
You mean declare?
Whether Jesus knows or not.
That's not the only definition that's of how he's
Regardless of anyone's interpretation of 32, any Christian, any Muslim, for any sense, why would we think that they would know? We already know they don't know.
Who's they?
The disciples, that's who he's talking to. Be on guard, keep awake, for you do not know. And it's funny that Jesus is telling them they don't know.
Yeah, no, he gives the parable.
He
gives the parable. He gives the parable right after he quotes Mark 13:32.
To
So
let
who's
them
the
know that
master?
they
Real
don't
quick,
know.
only. Who's the master in verse 34?
The Father.
And then the disciples are the servants.
Wait,
Scroll
the
down.
master is the father?
Wait, just
Not the son?
let him bury himself. Let him bury himself. So in verse 34 or verse 35, sorry. Who's the servants in that parable?
Yeah, so he's giving a parable he's trying to give like an example of Mark 13:32. There's also another parable
Who
in
are the
Matthew.
servants? Yes, Matthew 24. Who are the servants in this parable?
Yeah, so therefore stay awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come in this evening or at midnight or when the rooster crows or in the I can't see that, but yeah, so who the servants are in the parable? If I were to guess, I don't know.
So the servants are the disciples in context, okay? And he's telling the disciples to be watchful because they don't know when the coming is. In the context of Mark 13 and in the context of Matthew 24, is Jesus talking about the coming of the Son of Man or the coming of the Father?
You said sorry, repeat that.
In the context of Mark 13 and in the context of Matthew 24, is Jesus talking about the coming of the Son of Man or the coming of the Father?
The coming of the day of judgment, man.
But there's a person that's coming. Is he talking about the Father or is he talking about the Son of Man?
If I were to guess, the Son of Man.
Okay, the Son of Man, so he would be talking about himself. right? Because in both Mark 13 and in Matthew 24, he just got done giving judgment towards the Pharisees and the Jewish people because of their unbelief. And so he gives a prophecy about, hold on just for a second. He gives a prophecy about their temple. And then the disciples come up to him and say, okay, when are these things going to happen? And then he gives a whole paragraph about what events lead up to his coming, all these different things that happen. So now that we know that the Son of Man is the one who's coming back, who is the master in the parable in verse 34?
Can I respectfully, can I talk to Coley now?
Well, just after this, please, just so that we're in context.
Wait,
Who's
wait,
the master? in
Sure,
verse
I mean,
34?
Me and Coley were actually going somewhere. I'm trying to talk to
I know. I'm not going anywhere else. I just want us to be honest with the context. All right, then we'll be able to have a respectful conversation. Okay, and I'll shut up. I just want you to be honest. Who is the master in verse 34?
Couldn't tell you, man.
well,
gotta go.
Jesus tells us in Matthew 10:25 that he's the master of the house.
All right.
Jesus is the master, and the
Yeah.
master knows the hour.
Okay,
That's
the
why
reason-
we keep on trying to take you to the parable and tell you that you just bait yourself by going to the parable. And
Okay.
it's still
The
not
reason
clicking
why I
in your
brought
head
up.
because you got the script and you're not understanding what's happening in those verses.
All right, man.
Just,
Can you please?
and
Can
you don't
mute
know
up,
what's
please?
happening in the chapter.
Can
all right?
you mute up, bro?
Yeah, you don't know anything about our Bible.
Yeah.
All right,
So.
It's
Marlon,
embarrassing
give
that
me
you
your
came up
thoughts.
here and you said it's the
Yo,
Father.
man, this
Gi-
dude
yeah,
just keeps
gi-
manifesting,
yeah.
bro. Quit talking,
Give
bro.
me your thoughts, Marlon. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah. So the reason why I brought up the whole declare thing is I think it's absolute nonsense. Do you know who Saint Ambrose is of Milan? Yeah. So he's a saint. So basically, I'm gonna give you his verbatim quote. It is written, they say, but of that day and hour knows no son, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father only. Mark 13:32. First of all, the ancient Greek manuscripts do not contain the words neither the Son, but it is not to be wondered at if they but it is not to be wondered at if they who have corrupted the sacred scriptures all have also falsified this passage, the reason for which it seems to have been inserted. Cut out. Yeah, the reason for which it seems to have been inserted is perfectly plain, so long as it is applied to unfold such blasphemy. So the reason, so he thinks, so basically what the Saint Ambrose is, what he's saying is that the original manuscripts don't have nor the Son, but it was later added on,
Okay,
right?
can I ask you a
And
question
why
about
he
him?
calls it blasphemy? What I'm not making an argument for corruption, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying. I'm saying he's basically saying that the Son not knowing the hour is blasphemy. So clearly he's interpreting it as knowing and not declaring. That's why I think this whole declaring thing is not nonsense.
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry.
Does Saint Ambrose believe Jesus is God?
Huh?
Does Saint Ambrose believe Jesus is God?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay.
No, that's not that's not the argument I'm making.
But you're like bringing up saints, like, okay, yeah, different church fathers may have different like ideas about what this passage means, but you notice how even so, he still recognizes the divinity of Christ.
Yeah, but I'm saying that to declare, you have to. But basically, what I'm saying, I'm not making that argument. I'm making the argument which declare is not. It's actually to know. That's my argument. Because if he's calling it blasphemy to say that, if he's calling it blasphemous to say that, then he clearly means it's about knowing.
So according to that saint, Jesus knows the hour then, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh my, you got it, bro.
That's not the point. He's basically saying that neither the Son.
Bringing this up? Do you agree that Jesus knows the hour?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
No.
So then why are you bringing sources?
No, because
that would prove the opposite?
Because he's saying that this is the interpretation is not declare, it's knowing. I don't care what this.
Okay, got you. So it doesn't mean declare. However, he still knows the hour. So what argument are you bringing that shows?
I'm saying that in this context, this verse says to know. It's clearly about cognitive knowledge.
Which he has. Which Jesus has.
Saint Ambrose.
There's like three.
Wait, just hold on, Jay. One second, Jay. So he has that knowledge. So what's the argument against that?
My argument against it that goes against the verse.
It doesn't, because he gives a parable which you refuse to answer because you know if he's the master, that means he knows that he's coming back.
The reason why Saint Ambrose thinks he does know the hour is because he believed that the original manuscripts don't have neither the Son.
He also believed Jesus
Right.
is God. So,
So-
regardless,
Oh my
regardless
God!
if he
But
believes-
that's why he considers this verse in front of you blasphemous.
regardless if the verse
Oh my
it was in
God,
the earliest
bro.
manuscripts or not, he believes Jesus was God. If Jesus is God, he knows all things.
Yeah, but is he? Let me answer this question.
Are
Is
you
he
being-
against or is he with this verse?
Is he
Okay. So,
against
no,
Mark
no.
13?
I mean, I'd have to fully
No,
read.
no,
he
he
wouldn't.
very much-
He wouldn't be
Yo,
against
there's
it
like
because
5
he
people talking,
I'm
bro.
answering you.
Damn.
I'm answering you. He wouldn't be against it because he believes Jesus is God. Therefore, he knows the hour. He's saying it's blasphemous.
But does this verse say
Hold
Jesus
on,
knows the
I'm
hour? Yes or
answering
no?
you, bro. I'm answering you.
Yo,
He says it's blasphemous because he believes Jesus knows the hour.
So he thinks that this verse right in front of you is blasphemous.
Because Jesus knows the hour.
Yes. Does he think that this verse in front of you is blasphemous? Yes or no?
So this is just one.
No,
church-
he
this is-
doesn't. I have it right here. I have seen that
All right,
verse right
so
here. Okay.
read to me.
All right.
read-
So what you're doing is what? So where does he? What is he? Does he believe that Jesus knows the hour or not?
I would assume so.
Does
Yes.
he believe that Jesus? What do you mean?
He still,
so you just
he still brought
us
him
the
up
St.
as a
Ambrose.
source, and he still brought it up
You
as a
brought him
source.
up as a source out here, and you don't know.
I do know.
He says
I-
we shall not find
just-
it. Okay, right here. Right. Let me
Yeah.
show this.
Yes. He does, man.
Yeah. You script. This is the script bunnies do. They come up here.
Yo,
they don't know
bro, I
anything.
literally told you multiple times. Can I talk to
somebody
Holy,
else,
bro?
yeah?
Like I don't know why this cheerleader.
Shut your trap up now. Here it is. Saint Ambrose. He says,
Let's
we
keep it
shall not
respectful,
find
guys.
it.
Let's keep it respectful.
We shall not find it. We shall not find it. Find it is owing to ignorance, but to wisdom. He said Christ did not want to say this, not because of his ignorance, but to his wisdom. Right here, chapter 17. Okay, right here, Ambrose is. I gotta go all the way on the top, but anyways, that's this thing. It's New Advent right there on the fathers.
That's
Okay,
that
right here,
complete.
exposition of. Okay, that's the exposition of Christian faith, volume 5, and he says right there.
Go to
Okay?
chapter.
It's not because I don't need to go anywhere. He's talking about it wasn't because of his
Go
ignorance.
to
Okay?
bro. This is why I can't talk to
Yo,
these like
bro.
cheerleaders, bro.
Okay.
Like,
All right. Yeah. Listen.
like for the millionth
God
time,
better-
can I talk to Coley, bro? Like, oh my
no,
god,
no. You're bringing in Ambrose.
Like,
You're
dude.
misquoting Ambrose. You're lying on.
I'm not
Ambrose.
misquoting anything. Go to chapter 16,
No,
192.
What?
Like,
Why
what?
would I go to
Like, what are you
chapter
talking
16
about?
Why would I go to chapter 16 when he's
Regardless,
just kinda
Jay,
right here?
he's appealing to a guy who believes Jesus knows the hour. And
Yeah, but he
trying
goes
to
against the
argue
verse
about
that it's in front of you.
that.
Like,
At this
Which-
point, it's like what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Right here. Christ acted for our advantage in being unwilling
Oh my
to reveal
God,
the day
bro.
of judgment.
Colby, what
Okay,
is
right,
this, bro?
Guys. Okay, all right. So here it is.
bro,
okay?
I don't care for what you have
Christ-
to say, bro.
Christ acted
I'm not trying to
for
talk to you.
at the advantage in being unwilling to reveal the day of judgment.
This dude,
This
man.
is made plain by the other words of our Lord and by a not dissimilar passage from Paul's writing. Other passages in which, so basically he's comparing it to Acts. He's saying, even in Acts, it shows that he knows the hour. Our passages, this is St. Ambrose, are passages in which the same ignorance seems to be attributed to the Father are brought forward to meet those who are anxious to know why Christ answered his disciples as though he did not know. From these, Ambrose argues against them that if they admit ignorance and inability in the Father, then they must admit the same substance exists in the Son as in the Father, unless they prefer to accuse the Son of falsehood, since it belongs neither to him nor to the Father to deceive. But the unity of both is pointed out in the passage's name. But we ask for what reason he was unwilling to state.
You're gonna
time.
read the entire like
If we
article.
ask
Yeah,
it,
we
if we
totally
ask
get it.
it,
I'll
Okay,
read
This
that
dude
part.
is like
Read that
blabbering,
part.
blabbering, bro.
it,
Yo, Coley,
we
can I
shall
please?
find.
Bro,
we
I'm
shall
not trying to
find-
read this
we
entire
shall-
article,
we
bro.
shall-
Like, what is this dude
This
doing?
Let him finish the
This is
highlighted
just
part.
one line. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is one line. This is a line. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
We shall not find it is owing to ignorance, but to wisdom.
Yeah.
So he's saying that he knew
I
the
know
hour.
that I know what
Okay,
he
didn't
thinks.
declare it. Okay, you got
Bro,
baby.
this dude keeps manifesting. Yo, Coley, can I please have a one-on-one with you, bro? Please, like for the love of God, man.
We've had some good conversations, talked about metaphysics, talked about Mark.
We talked. We said 2 sentences to each other,
We've been
bro. This
talking
dude has been
for-
blabbering and
for
manifesting for the
27
past
minutes.
year and a half.
Feel free to come back anytime. I'm just, for the sake of the live stream, I'm just going to keep moving on through some conversations before I hop off. So I appreciate y'all trying to be patient.
Find
with
something
each
better
other.
next time.
So
Yeah,
take
learn,
it easy,
learn the
man.
scripture before you say.
Can I
Yeah.
say what? Can I talk to Coley one-on-one just for like 5 minutes before?
No, you come back another time, bro. When I don't have anyone else, we can have a one-on-one discussion for sure. Oh, he left. Okay, or someone kicked him. I don't know. Yeah. All right. It is 9:53. I got time for like one more combo. I'm trying to actually get to sleep at a decent hour. And I say that, and then I'll end up keep going, but I'll try to hold myself accountable. I just want to give a shout out real quick.
Hey, sorry about that, bro.
It's all good. Shout out to all the people sending the likes. Appreciate it. Shout out to the gifts. Shout out to the people watching over on YT.
They have a hard time hearing you, they're saying down in the chat.
Me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me, guys? You can hear me clear?
We can
Am
hear
I
you.
coming
Jay.
across good or just
We
sound
can hear
better.
you.
in the chat?
Does
In the
sound
chat. In the
loud.
chat.
Yeah, we can hear Jay.
Good night, Orange Juice. How do I sound?
No, this is in the chat. Yeah, no, they're saying just Cody. Yeah. Yeah, he's good? Cody's good?
I turned my, I might have accidentally hit it earlier, my mic volume, and turned it down, which is a bummer, but whatever. Appreciate y'all chat. Just let me know.
I gotta be honest, bro. Y'all gotta be honest. As soon as he brought up the parable, he was done.
He was done there. He was done. He took us to the parable. I was like, I hope Cody's going to go to the parable. And he walked us into the parable, and then he walks us into St. Ambrose. And right here, I read it. St. Ambrose is saying it's not ignorance, it's wisdom. They go and they pay $10 and $20 for these scripts, dude. And then if you just take them out a little bit, like when you asked him, like, hey, who is the master of the Father or the Son? He says, Father. Then you broke it down and he said, Son. Then he came back and he said, oh, it could be, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, he's so dishonest. Like,
I don't believe it's dishonest. I think it is, what happens is if you deviate from his script that he's paid for, then he doesn't know the Bible. He doesn't know what's going on in there. Yeah. So they get a brain freeze.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to bring up probably potentially my last guess. We'll see. We'll see. Stay on though, because I might keep trucking through. Who knows? Moon, are you a Muslim, or at least reject the prompt?
Yeah, I am a Muslim, man.
All right.
Hello, Coley.
How's it going?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. So yeah, you don't believe that Jesus is God?
I don't believe that Jesus was God, but I am doing my research on. I'm trying to understand Christianity and
okay.
I've seen some stuffs and like videos about Paul, and I don't really get why Paul is an prophet. Like he came like 200 years after.
Definitely not.
Or 100. I mean,
no,
much after Jesus died.
Paul comes so pretty quickly after Jesus's life. Paul shows up on the scene. One of the early church members gets unalived, and Paul is there to approve of it because he's at the beginning he's a zealous Jew who's against Christianity. And then shortly after that, he's going to become a Christian. And then I'll just, for the sake of rounding, we'll say 10 years after that, he really gets into his full-time ministry, right? He writes his first letter 20 years after Jesus died and resurrected. So he had been following Christ before that. I think his first letter is the letter to the Thessalonians around 50 AD, and Jesus was crucified in 33 AD. So Paul is one of the earliest followers of Jesus.
Oh, maybe I am confusing him with someone else.
Maybe, but Paul wrote a lot of the letters that are now in our Old Testament. Paul was an apostle who was approved by the other apostles of Jesus. The apostles are just like Jesus's closest disciples, who Jesus gives authority to be the leaders of Christianity. And so Paul was one of those people.
Wasn't there a prophet that came after Jesus? I have that in mind, kind of.
No. No, if
Alright,
you're talking about like the
so-
title of prophet, there might be like there's the gift of prophecy within Christianity, but if you're talking the title of a prophet, no, there's no.
All right, that's just yeah, that was just my question. I was
Okay.
on here a long time, so
Yeah, have you have you read the New Testament at all? Like, have you read the Gospels? Have you read?
I started it, but I'm not done yet.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's going to be your first place to start figuring out what Christians believe, right? Is going to the Bible, reading
Yeah, of course.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If you read the book of Acts, that's when you'll see Paul show up in the narrative about chapter 7 or 8.
After this, I wanted to read the Old Testament too, like
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
books.
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna
know-
give the stage to another one. I don't
Okay.
want to
Well,
waste
wait,
your
wait,
time.
1 second, Moon. Moon,
Yeah.
1 second. In your Quran, also, you have 23 scholars. I have right here in front of me that say that Paul was a messenger and apostle. In Tafsir, 23 of your scholars. There are scholars like Bagawi, Jawzi, Ibn Kathir, Qurtubi, Asqalani. These are big, Suyuti. These are huge scholars. 23 of them I have right in front of me that in their tafsirs all name Paul as the messenger and apostle.
Yeah, I don't really know my scholars that much. I'm still kind of young, and I'm trying to figure out what my religion, Christianity, other religions are. So I'm just here.
Oh, cool.
Asking questions.
What have you started? What have you started reading out of a Bible? If you don't mind answering, what have you read so far? What books?
What books?
Yeah,
Of the Bible, like have you read Mark
of the Bible.
or Matthew or?
Yeah.
The NIV.
Okay.
If I,
Yeah, that's the version.
That's a translation. By the way, that's not a good translation. You should, if I could. I'm a recent Christian. I went through your journey that you went through. That's what I was asking you. So I started off by reading Matthew first.
Mhm.
You know, I did the Gospels first. I did Matthew's first, and it's so simple. John is beautiful. So if you read Matthew first, that would be great. And then when you want to do the translation, stay away from the NIV. It's not really good. It's new NKJV, which is or ESV. ESV is good. But yeah, if you start with Matthew,
ESV.
finish the Gospels before you go into the Old Testament.
All right.
and
so first the
make
New
a lot of
Testament
notes.
and then
Make
the
a lot
Old
of notes.
Testament.
Yeah. Do the Gospels. Make notes. Do research. Make notes. Go on YouTube. See if people have any commentary about what they say. If you do that, it'll just
Yeah, I
happen.
want to
Come
do
back with
my
any questions
research on
for
all religions. Yeah, not
Brilliant,
every
man.
single one, but like the main. I mean, the most popular ones.
Yeah. So do this. Read Matthew, the first 10 chapters. Make some notes on it and come back on Cody's live. And follow him. Make sure, or follow me, or follow Rich, and come back and tell us what you thought about it and what questions you have about it.
Or
Yeah, sure.
shoot
Why
me a
not?
direct message, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Gonna give like the stage to another one.
All right.
I don't want to
Yeah. You
like
take it easy, man.
waste the life.
Yeah.
I wish y'all a great evening. I mean, it's evening to me.
God bless you,
Same.
brother.
Yeah. See you, man.
See you.
God bless. Bye. All right. We got the next one rolling in.
Howdy.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of your videos in the past, so I guess I wanted to ask quick concept
Are you a
questions.
Muslim or
as
do you
which
reject
parts
the
of
do you reject the prompt?
yeah, I'm agnostic, so I don't believe the prompt.
Okay. Yeah. Hit
That's
me
a
with your
requirement.
question. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask which parts of the Bible, both old and new, would you consider to be metaphorical, and which ones would you consider literal?
Oh man, dude, I'd have to go piece by piece, man. Like, I think it depends it's highly contextual because there's so many different types of literature that are occurring, right? You're going to read Psalms and you're going to get a lot of metaphoric language. You're going to read some of the prophets and get a lot of metaphoric language. But I think if you're talking about narratives, I'm assuming that's right? Maybe like Genesis or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of Genesis where you have like the ark, the way creation is put, the way the Tower of Babel, like I guess the very old classical.
Yeah. So
tales.
even
Like, what
even
your perspective on that?
you know, even in context of that narrative, you're getting, I don't know if metaphoric, you're getting different types of language, right? So if you take like Babel, for example, there's like a line where it says that God will come down and see the Tower of Babel. And you might think like, well, God doesn't need to come down, but actually it's kind of written as a joke because their idea was they're going to make this tower that's going to, you know, reach to the sky. And so God's going to come down because it's so far away. Like they couldn't accomplish their task. Right. And so a lot of it's just understanding the Hebrew language. I'm not saying like I'm an expert at, but, you know, reading scholars. But I think Genesis 1 through 11, or is it 10? I think it's 11. 1 through 11 is unique and different than 12 on from the rest of Genesis. And there's different beliefs within Christianity. A couple of popular ones, like I hold to theistic evolution. So I think that evolution is, I think there's good evidence for it, but I don't think the Bible contradicts it. I think a lot of what the Hebrew scriptures is explaining is not how, but why, in kind of what God is doing there and setting up Adam as his kind of vice regent. I think the flood is local, not worldwide, things like that.
Yeah, I guess I was going to ask you about evolution. I do think theistic evolution makes more sense than the, I guess, classic creationist perspective.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue with that because you really can't prove that evolution, whether it is caused by God or not. The outcome.
Yeah, it does draw out the good question though. If we do kind of, if we question whether, right, the agnostic view, oh, could there be a God? Then he's like, if God created me, he created me in a sense of which I'm evolving, right? Like I started as like a, you know, like an embryo or however it starts, right? And then I grew into, you know, what I am today as a human being. And so why can't God do that like with all of creation? I think that Adam is unique though, in that there's something particular about what God is doing with Adam and Eve in the garden. I don't know. I debate Muslims a lot more now, so I don't think about these things as much.
Yeah, I noticed. I actually do come from like a Muslim background, so I do kind of, but then I became atheist when I was about 12, 13.
Okay.
I guess I would ask you to kind of elaborate on the flood thing, because most people would either say it's metaphorical or that it's a global flood.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very unique position where you think it's more localized.
Yeah, if you want to reference, because I haven't had this conversation in a long time. I think an interesting view on it, because he breaks down some of the Hebrew text and what it's saying, is Inspiring Philosophy. He's got a video on if the flood was global or not. You could just probably type in, you know, Inspiring Philosophy, you know, Noah's flood or something on YouTube, and it'll pop up. But essentially he does a good job of breaking down how some scholars point out different things in the text to show that it's not meant to be viewed as the whole world, but is just viewed as an area. I haven't looked at that in a while.
What's your thoughts on kind of older stories that are very similar in terms of global floods, such as what the Sumerians believed in?
So I've actually like seen the Epic of Gilgamesh with my own eyes, which is really cool. Or at least pieces of it, like in like there's that one. I think there's the Sumerian text. I think that those provide evidence that there is some ancient thing that happened that these Middle Eastern cultures are drawing on and trying to make sense of why it happened. Right. You can either take that argument where it's like some type of flood did happen, and so these different cultures are trying to make sense of how it happened because they have these general elements of like this person survived, right? Survived this flood on this boat. But you could also argue that maybe this is just, I don't know, maybe it's less likely though that this is kind of an ancient tale that is somehow making its way through different cultures. I don't know how they're connected. So yeah, I don't know. Those are some of my general thoughts on it. I think I'll say this, when it comes to Christianity, and I was actually talking to a friend the other day, we were talking about this earlier today, like when it comes to Christianity, what I'm really banking my faith on, and if I can find good evidence for, is the resurrection of Jesus. And if I'm grounded in that, then I feel freedom to go, I don't fully need to understand what happened in Noah's flood. I'm okay if there's different interpretations because my faith isn't rooted in that, if that makes sense.
That does make a lot of sense. I know that's a kind of very popular perspective from Christians. I'm a very analytical person. That's why I like the big stuff where it's kind of very easy to kind of look at the science for. Like, I know you're not, but there's a lot of young earth creationists that I've spoken with, and that's very easy to look at the science of.
Yeah.
In terms of how long something ago was and what could actually be possible and what's really not possible.
Yeah.
The thing with my thing about the Newer Testaments is not that it's impossible, because you don't necessarily know what's impossible. I'm just not a big fan that a lot of the data came decades after the event, and just naturally our memories are not as good as they were as soon as something happened.
Sure.
So even though you have stories from different perspectives, there's always that element of, at least from my perspective, obviously proof is different for everyone. Same with a judge has to kind of judge whether someone did a crime or not based on, evidence and eyewitness testimony. Just personally for me, from my perspective, it's never been convincing enough for me, but doesn't mean it's not necessarily true or not, or false or not.
I mean, I'll say a couple of things to that. One is, scholars will note that there's a couple early creeds within Paul's writings that date previous to him writing. The earliest, writings we have in the New Testament are, at least what scholars say, is not the Gospels. It'd be Paul's writings, right? So his first letter is going to be about 20 years after the death and resurrection, that whole account, that event. And within his writings to the Philippians, his writings to the Corinthians, he's going to quote earlier creeds. So I'm confident in saying we know the earliest beliefs of the Christians was that Jesus died and rose from the grave. Like that seems to be the core thing that started this whole movement from the Christian perspective, right? We're just talking historically speaking. And then, historically speaking, these stories coming within decades of his life is pretty darn good. And you have to consider that they were circulating in oral tradition first, and then eventually got written down. And so, our culture just doesn't do well with that, but a lot of cultures over the history of the world were fine and probably better. I hope they were better at preserving oral traditions because they weren't writing as many things down, whereas we can write anything. Everything's recorded. This conversation is recorded. I don't have to remember the exact details of our conversation because I can just go back and check it out, and so I do think there's an element of oral tradition and
like in the ancient times, especially if you look at very old Jewish traditions where you had like the oral Torah, which was not written many years later, that was just purely based on different ways of like memorizing. But I still think that's not infallible in any era. And many different religions, like you'll see the same thing in Muslim traditions, where they will tell you the same thing, that it was memorized orally. And both of us would probably agree that the evidence from their perspective is not sufficient. So unfortunately, at least from my perspective, it's still not infallible.
They do some things like the Quran does some things that the New and Old Testament, or particularly the New Testament, doesn't do, right? The Quran is going to literally change the stories, is going to insert new dialogue, is going right, like, and this is hundreds of years after. Whereas if you read the New Testament, it doesn't do that. It'll quote the Old Testament, but it's its own, you know, corpus in a sense, and its relation to the Old Testament is in quoting it, not changing things up, right? And so, you know, they might change like a they might change like a they might be quoting an Old Testament passage from memory and writing it down. So maybe a word or something is different of the verse that they're
Yeah.
quoting, but far different. I don't know if you've read the Quran, far different from the Quran. The Quran will literally make up whole new stories about biblical characters, hundreds of years. It has its own account of Joseph, the story in Genesis, that, it, you know, it's literally thousands of years later. And it's going to say that, you know, this is from God. Like, these, they're not, even if you believe both are false, they're not comparable.
In the way you're saying, yeah, I'm just saying in terms of the relying on oralness can inevitably lead to, you know, stuff that are completely different to what it probably originally was.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the risk. And I guess we obviously have very different interpretations of sufficient evidence, and which is fine. Again, that's normal. That will change from person to person, Christian to Christian.
Yeah. And here's the thing. This is just a reality. I think there's good evidence for Christianity, but you need an encounter with God. On some level, that is what all Christians are claiming, and that's kind of the belief of Christianity, is that we come into a relationship with God. It's not kind of, it is the belief, right, that we're encountering him in some way. And I just don't know anyone who's truly following Christ that doesn't believe that they haven't encountered him in some type of profound way. Right. And so, like, I just don't want to negate the, like, our experience matters. There is an element of that. Now, for me, I would say my personal experience matters, but if I find evidence counter to my personal experience, I should then question my experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of logical.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really disagree with
Right.
that
And
per
so
se.
we all have our biases. Everybody's got to believe that. But I do my best to check my biases and go, man, I'm going to be honest here. Regardless of my bias, what do I think's happening? So, like I say, these are two things that I stand by, even if I punt the faith one day, even if like 20 years from now, I'm like, Christianity, why did I believe in that? I don't think that's going to happen. But even if that happened, there's like two things that I would say three things that I would hold to based off what I've read. One is that the Gospels really are written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. At least that's what the evidence points to, and we don't have any good counter evidence to suggest otherwise. Two is that based off of what we have, Jesus claimed to be God. And three, the original disciples, the original followers of Jesus, really believed that Jesus rose from the dead, whether or not he actually did. So even if I punt on the faith, I'm going to acknowledge those three things, if that makes sense. I'm just going to say they were wrong.
Yeah, which is again a possibility. I do agree with you, at least in that second part of your kind of hypothetical, that like a lot of these people did exist, and doesn't necessarily mean they're lying, and they're, you know, it's a lot more nuanced than that. So
it is, yeah.
It's not that.
There's a lot of nuance, you know, and a part of it for me is, you know, in my life, I was in a place of despair and in no identity and really struggling. And I didn't grow up a Christian. I kind of grew up Christian adjacent, and I'm giving you this short version, but I got to a point where I was like, Jesus, I don't even know, but like, if you're real, I'm going to trust in you. And then some things in my life miraculously changed. And so I was compelled to be like, something something outside of me has come into my life and changed who I am. I can't escape my own experience in that. I've never been the same since that moment that I was 18 years old. Like I haven't been. There's no.
Well, I guess for you that is like extra evidence on top, which is something that obviously
Right.
That's a very personalized.
Yeah, it's just
experience to
evidence
you.
for me. It's not evidence for somebody else. But at the same time, it's somewhat irrefutable. Like, it's hard to deny someone else's experience. But then
Yeah,
I need
100%.
to take that experience and then start to look at Christianity and go, does my experience line up? Do I have good evidence in what I'm seeing here to where I feel confident to affirm my experience? Or do I have evidence that I say, nah, this ain't it? Like, so.
You know, I'd say that's like a logical perspective on your part, because like I've spoken with many different people of many different religions, and most of them are just kind of based on what they grew up with, and they didn't have deeper thought into their own religion. They didn't have any of these special experiences. They're just, you know, parroting what their parents taught them, and a lot of the time that's not even correct to their own doctrine of the religion.
Sure, yeah.
But I'll probably let you sleep now because I know it's a bit late. And
I appreciate.
I just kind of just try to gauge, at least from the kind of scientific perspective, and you seem to be very, I guess, up to date with.
Yeah, you should look up Inspiring Philosophy's got a video on the Bible and evolution. You should check that out. You just type in Christianity and evolution or the Bible and evolution. He's got a couple videos that'll pop up. You know, and I try to follow the evidence where it leads.
Yeah, I think that's a good perspective, because a lot of people do not do that. A lot of people will just stay on whatever they were taught as a child, and they will not let go regardless.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, and it's like, man, like a lot of people I feel like I talk to Christians and it's like, you need this to be true. Your whole world's going to crumble. And for me, there's a part of that, but I'm just like, man, I really do believe this is true. And if I received evidence, if something happened in my life to make me go, I really don't believe this is true anymore, I would follow that, because to me, that's what matters. I don't want to waste my life. And so I'm just doing the best I can, just like everybody else. But for the time being, today, my hope is in Christ. So.
Yep. Well, thank you for having a chat with me. Thank you for making good content. A lot of your content, I would say, is pretty good.
I appreciate that.
From
Thank you.
Agnostic perspective.
Yeah.
I still feel like you can learn a lot from good content creators from any religion.
Yeah.
And I'll say you're one of them.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Well, take it easy.
You too.
Peace. God bless. I'm going to talk to Tim real quick. What's up, dude?
What I saw the gang. I had to pop up myself. What's going on?
You know, chilling.
That's what we be.
Okay, I'm actually not doing that bad on time.
What's going on?
All right. The guy that we talked to earlier wants to talk to me for 5 minutes, so I'm gonna bring him up. So I'm gonna kindly request Rich, Jay, Tim, y'all, you let me chop it up with him for for 5 minutes. You know, I got the timer going. You're back, brother. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is there something from our previous conversation you wanted to follow up on?
Yeah, but before I ask that, is that Abrahamic fulfilled in the back?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I find
How far did you read are you halfway done or what?
I've skipped around a little bit, so I have read. What chapter am I? I'm like halfway through the 3rd chapter, but then also have another marker in chapter 5. So I'm in the process of reading the whole thing, though. I'm fascinated by it. I'll say that.
In what way?
I don't want to be disrespectful. So I'm trying to pick my words carefully. I think that there's just a lot of things that are stretched, and there's some inconsistency on rabbinic Judaism. There's sometimes where the authors are okay with using these Jewish rabbis, and then others kind of bashing on these Jewish rabbis. So that's like that's kind of interesting. And then I've got a friend who's kind of done some deeper work into it, and so he's kind of cited some biblical scholars alongside, or Hebrew scholars, Greek scholars, things like that. And so I tell you what, though, it's pretty well written and it's easy to read. So I'm not bored reading it, which is good. I'm tracking, like it's articulated like well as a book. It sucks when you get a book and you're no matter what they're saying and you're just like dragging along, but not this. Like I feel good when I'm reading it. So I give him credit there.
Do you remember any of the prophecies that it quoted based off what you read, or no? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, pretty much everything I've read so far is already things that I've heard before. So,
like, can you give me an example?
Deuteronomy 18, Deuteronomy 33.
Have you heard the Daniel 2 and 7 and 9?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just had a conversation with a guy a couple days ago on it. So
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, though, you had a debate with Dean, no?
Two times.
The most recent one where it was, I think the Quran was the word of God. I think
that was it.
Yeah, what's the name? If I'm not mistaken, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Like, I'm genuinely being serious. Like, what was like the reason for you saying like, oh yeah, like, because there was a lot of like clips after that saying, oh yeah, I refuse to answer, and you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you've seen the clips.
I actually haven't seen any of the clips. I like
okay.
Muslim content's not coming across my
oh
feed
yeah,
like
yeah.
That.
Yeah. So basically, like, it's just like, oh yeah, I refuse to answer, or like, I don't know. There was like a lot of that. I'm just being like honest.
Sure. Yeah, there was only a couple times I said I don't know, because I don't have to know everything to show the Quran is false. Like he brought up like a quote about John the Baptist. I'm just like, dude, like I don't like, are you cool? Like the Quran talks about John the Baptist. Like I don't care. Like that's not the topic of this debate for me, right? So what's funny is he brought up something asking me if I knew what it meant, and nobody knows what it means. And I actually remembered that I'd read about it later, but that just happens sometimes, right? In a debate where you're like, I didn't know that, but I blinked on it in the moment. Right? Well, I don't got to sit up there and lie if you ask me something that I don't know.
What do you think of Dean as an overall debater? Like,
I mean, I don't know, like, all right, I guess. Like he's like pretty respectful. He definitely knows his arguments. I don't think they're like good arguments, but like he knows them. So props to him for
researching.
Yeah, for putting in the work. And so I don't think he did very well in that debate. I don't think anyone should ever accept that prompt. Because I don't have to know everything. I only need to show one thing. That's it. And it's such a wide, like I would never debate, is the Bible the word of God? There's just, it's a lot longer than the Quran. So there's that aspect to it, but it's just a hard prompt to deal with. So he came into the debate at a crutch, and he accepted the debate, and I offered that debate to many Muslims who did not. So kudos to him for being willing to debate me on it, and that's something I'll give Dean credit for, is he'll talk to anybody. And so I had a great time during that debate. So
yeah, one last question and then I'll let you dip.
Cool.
Yeah, this is more so like I'm challenging you a bit. Would you agree? And I'm just being all respectful because I don't want the other dudes to get involved. So would you agree that like for the Trinity, would you agree that if we like use like our basic logic and stuff, like how we count everything else, would you agree that we would end up with 3 gods?
Right. It's like, what do you mean by basic logic? What is your
Like, for
form of
example, I can give
counting?
I can give you an example. So, like, would you like an analogy?
Sure.
Yeah. So if I say, for example, there's 3 humans and one's name is, I don't know, let's use Matthew, Mark, Luke, for example.
Cool.
So Matthew, Mark, and Luke are all humans, but they are not each other.
Right.
How many humans would you end up with?
3.
Yeah. So if we apply, would you agree that if we applied that same like concept to the Trinity, we would end up with 3 gods?
Only if you're assuming that God's nature is the same as human nature. But I would say we don't assume that.
What? So you what I got out of that is like we don't count God the same the way we count humans.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I just want I want to know like your reasoning. Why do you think that?
Yeah, mine's grounded in scripture, right? You get Deuteronomy 6, you get Paul in 1 Corinthians 8, where he's adding Deuteronomy 6 is the Shema, right? The Lord our God, the Lord is one. And then you get 1 Corinthians 8:6, where Paul actually includes Jesus into the Shema. And I could get into the kind of my view of the Trinity. I take more of a monarchical Trinitarian view, right? That there's one God the Father, and that the Son and the Spirit are God in a predicative sense, and that they share in the same substance as the Father.
Yeah. So what?
Right. That's why
So
Jesus, when he says, the only true God and Jesus Christ whom you've sent in John 17:3, no problem with that.
Yeah. So you think that the Father is slightly like above in like status?
No.
Then what do you mean by what you just said?
Yeah, in terms of
Like,
status,
do you think they're sorry.
Well, define status, right? I don't know if status is the word I would use, but like the Son clearly submits to the Father in position, right?
Yeah. So what I mean by status is, do you think that they are both like they're both co-equal in every single like aspect?
Sure. Yeah, if we're talking like ontologically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because that's the concern, right? Is the ontological status. Because if there's multiple ontologies, then we have multiple gods. But Christians, we reject that, right? We say that there's one essence or one nature, and there's different view. Obviously, there's different views of the Trinity in Christianity. So
yeah. So one last thing, how does it feel? Like, I know this is kind of like a weird question, but like, how does it feel when you're like on, like, for example, for like the Dean debate? I don't know if you debated other like people as, I want to say Dean is really big, but like for someone as big, like Dean has a decent audience, and also Libiano, I don't know if you know who that is, but he was also like reacting to it with like an extra 1,000 viewers. Do you get like nervous during those type of situations?
No.
You don't get nervous at all?
I would like, if you could get in the Christian's shoes, okay?
Yes.
Listen, hey, I'm going to be wrong sometimes. That's just life, right? You can't win them all, okay?
Yeah.
That's just life, right? Doesn't even mean my position is wrong. Maybe it means I didn't explain it well. Now, I think I felt great about both of my debates with Dean, so I'm not saying that. Actually, I think I did fine. The second one, anyways, we don't actually take Islam seriously. I don't know how else to say it. So there's it. Why do you think I can get on here? I don't know everything, but like y'all's position from our vantage point is just I'm like, we're having a good respectful conversation. Like, and so I don't know a better word to use, but like absurdity. That's how I view the Islamic
Theology.
yes. Like there's and so so no, there's not any nervousness. Um because I really believe this, and I say I respect Muslim apologists for what they're willing to do. I think it's very hard to defend Islam,
Mm.
and
Oh,
so I respect that whoever like if I respect when somebody believes something and they say I'll I'll stand up for it. I respect that from any worldview, any belief. Um, And so I commend people who want to do that for whatever they believe, including
yeah.
Islam.
Yeah. What would you say the number one, or you can give me a couple, but what would you say like the number one problem that you have with like our theology? Like what like just name it. Like something that just like makes you like, wow, like what is this?
Yeah, I really think it's rooted in
The dilemma?
I think it's just really hard to believe in the Quran when it comes so much later. Right. I was kind of mentioning so it comes a lot later. And then it's like legitimately you could bring in the dilemma if you want, but it's legitimately changing some of the stories, right? Like you can read the story of Joseph in Genesis and you can read the story of Joseph in the Quran, and there's some similarities and there's some differences, and the author of the Quran is saying this is what happened, right? So as you as a Muslim, you
Yeah.
know, you read that, you believe that. I think as an outsider, it's hard to look at that and go, how do I have trust? How do I have trust that this is authentic and legitimate and I should believe this?
Yeah. Yeah. So would you agree that, like hypothetically, like in your case, would you agree if that the Quran is the word of God? Does it matter what time it came?
That's a great question, right? And that's where we start to investigate, okay, is this thing really the word of God? Right.
Yeah.
And that's the question that should be asked.
Yeah.
And I just don't find good evidence for that to be the case.
Yeah. Would you, I mean, why would you say, like, what's the number one reason you reject why it's the word of God?
There's a lot, man.
Just give me your strongest one that's like, you think is like irrefutable. Like you got, like, what do you think is the strongest one?
Oh man. But I think
Something that would actually disprove it. You know what I mean? Like not some like.
I mean, the Quran has real errors in it.
In terms of like what? Like
one I haven't brought up. One I haven't brought up in a long time, but this one really shocked me when I looked into it. But it is the story of Dhul Qarnayn, and this is clearly when you read the Syriac romance text of Alexander. When you read those texts that are written before the Quran, and these are made up stories about Alexander that come hundreds of years after his life. These are actually Christian stories that are made up about Alexander hundreds of years after his life. When you actually read those stories and then you go read it in the Quran, it's the exact same story, and it's being presented as if it is true when it is not. And when something like that pops up, it's like, whoa, pump the brakes here. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
And so Muslims may argue that it's not it's not talking about Alexander the Great, but there are a lot of Muslim sources that say that it is. And so at least a handful that say that it is. If I open, I got a study Quran right here, right? If I go to the passage, the first person it's going to mention is Alexander the Great. It's going to give a couple different views, but the main one it's going to give is Alexander the Great. And like I said, when you read the Syriac romance novels or romance stories of Alexander the Great, you can't unsee it. It's like, this is the same story, and the Quran is presenting it as true when it's actually a fictional story. I can't believe that this is the word of God.
Yeah, so you'd say like there's like more like a historical error.
Yeah, those are big ones for me. Historical errors.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think?
This
Do you think?
this is the last question, and I'm gonna call it. So
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I don't. It was that question. Yeah, I kind of forgot. It just flew off the top of my head. But yeah, man, it was nice talking to you. I usually see your videos a lot, or like not your video specifically. I see people reacting to your videos like a lot.
Oh yeah.
I actually came to your live from a video reacting to you. It was some dude called, I don't know, some dude called AYM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys like that. I commented on my video and his video. I said, come talk to me. Like I don't have time to make response videos to everybody. I just don't. And so if I make a response video to somebody, or if I respond to somebody saying something and they want to respond back, I feel great about that. Like, tell me why I'm wrong. Awesome. But I just can't keep up with doing all the back and forths. Maybe every once in a while I'll be compelled to respond again, but I just can't keep up. And so I like one of his recent responses. I just commented, I said, come talk to me on my live, come debate me on my live. Like, let's talk about this. And, I typically don't get a response.
So. Well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You do post a lot of content, and I respect your what's the word, dedication, or I guess dedication is the word. I respect your dedication towards this whole entire would you consider yourself like an apologist?
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I want to know more about Islam. I am fascinated by Islam. I've only been studying it for about 18 months. And this is a lifelong endeavor for me. I've read the Quran. I'm going back through the Quran. Like I said, I find this book fascinating. And I like having religious conversations with Muslims for one reason. And this applies to other groups too. But when I used to talk to atheists, they always wanted to stand on the other side of the fence and throw stones. But if you pressed on their worldview, they had nothing to stand on. At least you guys are willing to stand on what you believe. And so you can attack the Trinity, right? You can go, well, I don't believe Jesus is God. That was my prompt today, right? It's kind of inviting you to come and attack what I believe. But then other prompts, I can engage and go, well, I don't believe what you're saying is true. And I love that about dialoguing with Muslims.
Yeah.
So, and I try my content. I try to do some polemics where I go, I don't believe the Quran is true. But then if you watch my video today, I did a Muslim, making an attack on Christianity. So I'm doing an apologetic. I try to mix it up. I don't want to just be all I do is just talk bad about Islam. I don't want to do that. I want to go, I don't believe that what this claim is true, and here's why. But also, I want to defend Christianity.
Yeah,
I like both.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's respectable, man.
Yeah,
I definitely, like I said before, I respect your dedication towards this whole thing. I see you a lot.
Yeah.
So
well, I appreciate that, man. So you have a good night, bro.
You too, bro.
Yeah.
You too.
God bless. Bye. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good time. I don't know what y'all thought of that.
I got a question for you, dude. If you were going to be a tree, what kind of a tree would you be?
You say a tree?
This is a question. Hold on. You're too young to know what I was alluding to. Barbara Streisand once asked, who did she ask that to? Someone very famous. Who did she ask it to? She asked it to Streisand. Barbara Walters asked it to Barbara Streisand. If you were going to be a tree, I think it was Barbara Streisand. So it was one of those moments in interview history that they put out there of, how the most embarrassing question that you could ever ask. Like, really? Did you ask that person that question? If you were a tree, what kind of a tree would you be? So that's Barbara Walters. You know who Barbara Walters is, right?
Of course.
Please, tell me you know who it is.
Of course.
Okay, thank God. Because I was about to revoke your American citizenship card. You did not know that.
Walters is, yeah.
Right, yeah. And you know Streisand?
Yeah.
The singer, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was to the singer that she asked that question. So I'm just being cheeky asking you that question.
No, I know he was interviewing me a little bit, which I got no problem with, you know, and I said my piece about it. All right, I'm gonna bring up one more guest because I'm crazy and I should go to sleep, but they wanted to come up, but Rich, Tim, if y'all want to talk to him, y'all go for it. Jay and I've been up here.
Hello.
Hello.
So I had a clarifying question.
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I have a clarifying question. When someone says the term, like, for example, let me use you example. If you say that you're going to do an action, like you're going to go fix hot dogs or, you know, fix this, like doing an action, do you refer to your personhood? Like, I'm the one doing this. You refer to Coley doing this, right?
It's all you, Tim.
No, I'm asking you.
I don't know if you heard what I said before you came up. I said, Tim, Rich, if y'all want to get involved with this, I invited them.
So let's just
who's
skip
Tim?
Right, I'm Tim. Let's skip to the
Yeah,
point.
sorry.
You're talking about indexicals.
I'm not. You're
so what are you talking
presupposing
about?
something. Could you answer my question, please, and not presuppose?
Person.
Who's talking?
It was
I
me.
asked a question, waiting for an answer.
Okay, so your question is, when I say I or you, like, what am I referring to? Is that what you're asking?
Well, I did throw some context in. I said, let me just restate the question. What's your name?
Tim.
All right. So if Tim is going to fix some hot dogs and go fix some hamburgers and going to play some basketball at 7:00 and go into the movie theaters with his mother, is Tim speaking, the person of Tim?
We would call that the subject. That's weird language to use, the person, but I would say the subject, but semantically I could say those are the same thing.
Is Tim speaking?
If I say I'm going to go do something, I'm referring to myself.
Okay. And that would be your personhood, right? The person of Tim.
That'd be the subject called Tim.
Okay. But
so this is why,
same
so
thing.
real
What's the
fast.
difference? What's the difference with saying subject of Tim and the person of Tim?
Real fast. You asked a bunch of questions there, so I'll get to that in a second. But we'll do this.
I was just asking clarify.
Real fast. Yeah. We heard you say that. So when we talk about indexicals, how familiar are you with literature on indexicals? I'm not saying you're making an indexical. You haven't made an argument. You've asked questions. I know the difference between a question and an argument.
So why are you presupposing it's an indexical?
When I'm saying, hey, hush. Don't
tell me hush.
Let me get 5 words out. Let me get 5 words out. You can. We'll be there for you when you're crying. It's all right. So when you say I, when we talk about words like I and myself and things, those are called indexicals. Yes or no?
Go ahead, bro.
Yes or no?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So at least we have that common ground. So when you read the literature on indexicals and you index to what when you say I and myself? What would philosophers of language say? Would they say subjects or would they say personhood?
Well,
they would say subject. Anybody familiar with this field who's worth their salt in competence would say subject. And that's the reason why I'm saying that.
All right.
It's very simple. So move on to your next part.
Okay, what's the difference? Yeah, what would be the difference between the two? According to you?
The subject is going to be the referent of whatever is being indexed.
Okay, could that apply to a person?
It can. It's not limited to.
It can, right?
It can. It's not limited to.
So,
there's a range.
So in a sense,
don't use in a sense. There's a range.
Okay, in this sense, in this context that I gave you, it would be fair to say that Tim is doing the action. Tim is doing the action, not Coley. Tim is doing it. Is that fair?
Yes. The referent, which is the subject, Tim, is by which we're indexing the action to. Yes, it's very simple.
Okay, making it complex than what it actually is. Okay, so Tim is the one doing it, not Coley. Okay, step 1 complete. Step 2, why in the book of Isaiah 44 does God say?
Dude,
he
we've
creates-
done this.
No,
We've
hold
done
up.
this.
Hold up. Let me
You have
finish.
something better than this, dude?
Let me finish.
We can say it.
I've spoken to you before.
Let him get his point.
I've spoken to
Go
you
ahead, bro.
before.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think I've spoken to him, but okay. So in Isaiah 44, when God says he created the heavens, he said, I alone created the heavens, and he stretched the heavens out by himself. Quick question. Who's the one person speaking in Isaiah 44? Go ahead.
The subject is Yahweh.
Exactly. Is it qualified in Isaiah 44?
Okay. We'll see. No, hold on. I'm speaking to one person. Hold up.
You
Okay,
said-
so you said the person of Yahweh, the person of Yahweh speaking, right?
It's
that
the
what you said?
subject.
I don't-
It doesn't say
Okay.
person. It's the subject.
Okay. This is where the problem is. The subject of Yahweh speaking is Yahweh triune?
Yahweh's tripersonal.
Okay, there's the problem. Okay, so it's three persons. Which is it fair to say Yahweh is three
Here we
persons
go.
according to your
Okay,
paradigm?
ready for my
Yeah,
answer?
bro, stop it, bro. Just stick
You ready
with the
for
argument, bro.
I already know what you're
You're
doing,
like-
so I can answer.
Like,
I already know
bro,
what
you
you're
could
doing.
ask me a million questions about my paradigm. I'll answer
No,
straight up.
I'm
'cause I
answering
could
what you're
easily defend it.
asking right now.
But I could easily defend my religion all day long. But when I ask you questions, it's like you're like making it complex.
I'm
Like,
literally
you're just-
volunteering to answer what you're talking about.
Okay. What was my question?
Yeah. So you're saying that if I say that if Yahweh is saying that I alone do something, you're wanting to say that's going to refer to personhood, and it can't be multi-personal because of the word I. It's going to refer to a singular person. That's what you're arguing, right?
Okay, yeah, and quickly. And listen. Just before, we all remember this when I said that. Okay, when you do an action, could it refer to two persons? Like if Tim is going to play basketball, would that necessarily apply to Coley? If it's different persons?
No, because logical possibility is cheap. Logical
good.
It's not interesting.
Okay,
Listen,
good. So it would pick out one person, right?
It can.
Okay.
It's
okay,
also
good.
logically possible for the other.
So in Isaiah 44, who's the one person?
There's a singular subject that's being referenced.
Is a singular subject three persons?
Yahweh is tripersonal.
Okay, he's three persons, right?
So are you ready for me to give you my full answer?
Yes or no? Is he three persons?
I can give you my full answer. We don't have to keep going back through like this weird back and forth. I can give you my full answer.
No, we could go to my religion after. You could ask me questions.
Okay, do you want me to give you my full answer?
I mean, go ahead, bro.
Okay, great, because this is what I've been trying to get to for like the last 5 minutes.
You're just gonna overtalk away from the question. But go ahead.
I can give you my answer, bro.
No, bro. I'm letting you speak, but just quickly before you speak, I just know you're gonna overtalk away from the question, like most people do that. Go ahead.
All right, dude. Whatever. I'll give you my answer, man. I'll give you my answer. Okay. So when you cut me off in the beginning, and I already tracked and I already predicted you were talking about the problem of indexicals here, I was already going to tell you that indexicals can be contextual. They do not have to be absolute. It's going to depend on the context, like what Rich said earlier, the qualifier by which we refer to I. And in this particular situation, the context is Yahweh as the singular subject, as the referent. Here's also another bit of context. This is in Isaiah. And the revelation of Yahweh being tripersonal in the sense that this would have been the conceptual grammar within the heads of the ancient Israelites would be such an anachronistic thing to expect that the context here is not a fully revealed revelation of the fullest nature of Yahweh. We get that in the New Testament. We get the fullness of Yahweh's nature in the New Testament, where it is fully revealed that Yahweh is tripersonal. There are fuzzy, right, and non-dichotomous understandings of Yahweh's divine nature in the Old Testament, but one can absolutely, without contradiction, contextualize I to a singular subject, but that subject simultaneously be multi-personal. That is perfectly fine. You can do that. It doesn't violate anything in the philosophy of language. It doesn't violate reference theory. It doesn't result in any kind of contradiction. And so it's perfectly fine within a not fully revealed revelation about the fullness of Yahweh's nature, and in line with just ordinary understanding of how indexicals work, that you can say I and refer to a singular subject and yet have that subject be the referent that's be tripersonal. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. So notice how I didn't cut off and I let him speak, not cutting him off, even though I disagree. I disagree with. I mean, there were questions that would have sunk the ship if I asked him, but I just didn't ask him. So I'll just say, even though Coley had the picture up, it's literally what my argument, my position is. It's a one person God. That's the true God. But quickly, let me get to the point. When you mention the context being different, I would argue that they're the same, because in the book of Isaiah, God's doing an action. With the example that I gave you, you're doing an action by shooting the ball. Creating something is an action. Shooting the ball is an action. When someone does an action, it refers to the personhood. It's logical. If I'm gonna say me, let me just throw a name, Adam. Adam is going to go shoot a basketball. You're necessarily referring to the person of Adam. You wouldn't be referring to his human nature or his nature. That's the problem. In the Trinity, it's one essence, according to you guys. It's one essence. That's okay. I get that. But it's three persons. That's the problem. When you're shooting a basketball, it refers to your personhood. However, in the book of Isaiah, it's only one person speaking because he's doing an action. We all know logically when you do an action, it refers to person and not nature. I get your point when you're talking about an index, but the problem is it wouldn't flow into the book of Isaiah because it's a whole different context. The context actually follows because both are doing actions. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a misrepresentation of what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing based on nature. I'm arguing based on subject referent and how we can indexicalize based on different contexts. That's what I'm arguing. And all I have to do, wait real fast, all I have to do is show that there is a logically possible way out. Not necessarily, but there's a logically possible way out insofar as it does not violate the laws of logic, insofar as it doesn't result in a contradiction, by which we can understand simultaneously that the I being indexed to a singular subject, how that referent can still be tripersonal, even though the context is using the word I. That's perfectly fine. That's all I'm saying. So if you want to argue based on pure what's necessarily follows, you're using the wrong context because you're using a human context, right? And you also have to build in metaphysics because, I mean, the human nature, right? And Coley brought this up earlier with the person he was talking to. Like a human nature is an instantiation of a particular universal or particular kind. And that's why when we index, that's why when we index to humans, it's in our let me finish. In our ordinary everyday talk and our ordinary everyday life, when I say that I'm going to go shoot a basketball, I'm not referring to a tripersonal entity because that's going to violate what we purely know based on how humanity works. That's not going to go to the same way with Yahweh. But again, all I need is that it's logically possible for us to indexicalize based on context. That I can be indexed to a singular subject that's also tripersonal. There's nothing wrong with that. Wait, do you agree that there's nothing wrong with that?
No, there's a problem. Watch. God and humans
are logical.
That's why I'm applying the same logic. But hold up, clarifier. Do natures act or persons?
Wait, hold on. Is this the problem you're about to bring up?
No, answer the question. No, this is where it all sinks down. Do natures act?
So this is the problem.
Don't avoid, brother.
I'm asking a clarifying question, like how you're asking me. Is this the problem?
No, you can't answer. You can't ask a clarifier with a clarifier.
What? Oh, thanks for telling me what
I can't
encounter you, bro.
Or natures? Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Can you answer my clarifying question?
Do natures act or persons? I mean, you're just
I'll answer your question, but can you answer my clarifying question though?
No, because I asked a clarifier first. Like what?
Okay.
Answer my clarifier.
Well, then if you're not going to be good faith with me, then I'm good. If you're not going to be good faith with me, then I'm good.
You're not being in good faith by avoiding my question and asking. It's like,
I'm not avoiding. I told you I'd answer it.
It's like you're doing a test and then you tell the teacher,
wait, I told you I'd answer it if you just answer my clarification question.
So
all right, bro.
Just real quick,
clarifier,
dude. Is it Chechen? I can't pronounce it.
Chechen. No, you could just call me Adam.
Adam, okay, no worries. So why are you quantifying that Isaiah is singulating a unipersonal God?
Yeah, because I got you. Because in Isaiah, but why? Like, I'll answer you, but I was speaking to him, but I'll just answer you because it's a person doing an action. That's why I was asking: do natures act or persons?
Yeah. So
hopefully I could get an answer.
Yeah. So we believe that the persons would act within their nature, right? So persons act, but every person has a nature, right? But that still doesn't just because let's say a person is speaking, that doesn't quantify that the person is unipersonal in his nature.
Yeah. Okay. This is where the problem is. You're saying that persons act within their nature, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that picks out if I'm shooting a basketball and when I'm acting with one nature or three natures, it's only one nature, correct?
Right. I wouldn't compare God's nature to humans' natures, though.
Are we? Okay. What would be the difference?
Well, we're not God.
Okay, that's just a follow. I mean, we all know that
I
we're
mean,
not God,
is your nature
is God
is your
God
nature
and
the
humans
same? Wait,
logical?
hold on a second. Is
No,
your
is God
nature
and
the
humans
same as
logical?
God's? Wait, hold on. Is your
What's
nature
that?
the same as God's?
Well, no, that's
Okay,
number
so
one. Number
then,
two, no,
right. So
no, hold
there's no
up.
comparison
Let
between
me
God's
finish,
nature and
bro.
humans.
Okay, there's no comparison. Okay, is God and humans both logical?
God and humans both logical? What do you mean by that?
Like, okay, is God illogical?
Is God illogical
Yeah, within his nature.
within his nature? I wouldn't say so.
Okay, now are humans illogical within their nature?
Illogical within our nature? I wouldn't say so. It doesn't mean we have the same
Okay,
nature.
so we're both not illogical. Great. Okay, so you can compare
That doesn't
humans
mean
to God
no, we
within a
can't. That's
sense
not.
by if
Oh
you're
my
if you're doing
goodness.
by the
No,
laws of logic. What?
our natures are not the same. So therefore, you can't compare
Okay, we'll
things
see.
that are not the same. Our nature.
Yeah. If you're talking about the root, nature, yeah, obviously, but that's not the
essence,
problem.
exactly. So you can't
I'm
make
not.
that. Oh my
I know
God.
I'm
Go
not
ahead,
doing
bro.
it by the root nature. That's the difference. I'm not doing it by the root
That's what
nature.
I'm
I'm going
highlighting.
like,
I'm highlighting
listen.
the issue of you
So
comparison.
hold up. Just like how we have natures, God also has a nature.
They're not
Just
the
like
same.
how we have who-ness, God also has a who-ness.
They're
There's
not.
you can compare if you're using by logic. There's no problem with it. Just like how God has a who-ness in his person, we also are. It doesn't mean I'm comparing both of our natures root if you're going based off the actual nature. No, it's different.
Also by how
Because
it
God
works.
is not God is the unseen and he's the all powerful and he doesn't die.
Our natures
Humans
don't
don't
act the same
do.
way though.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
They don't operate
According
the
to
same.
you, what do you mean by that?
Even in our personhood and God's personhood does not act the same way.
Okay,
So
what do you mean by
therefore,
that?
cannot.
Like, give me an example.
Yeah. So for example, God is eternal within his nature. He creates. He does things that only befits him as God. We
Okay,
as
do
human beings.
humans?
Can I answer you, bro? What is going on?
Go
Let me
ahead,
answer you,
go
bro.
ahead.
Just relax for a second. I'll let you talk.
My bad.
So God, there's certain things that God does and only God can do. Only God is uncreated. Only God can create. Only God can judge. All these different things because it's due to who God is and his nature. We as humans, we are limited. We're limited in knowledge and power. We're finite. All these different things. So if you're drawing a comparison between human beings operating in any type of way and God operating in any type of way, you cannot do it. The very definition of our natures are not the same. We do not operate in the same way. So you drawing a comparison is basically you saying our natures are like God's.
Okay, number one, that'd be against my religion. So I obviously, by nature, don't compare humans and God. The difference is, I'm saying that logically, you could form an argument, like if you say that God has a personhood, humans also have a personhood. I'm going based off the outside, not the inside. There's a difference. When you're going out based off the inside, you're talking about his root nature, like how like being the unseen, etc., and so on. Humans, is different. Like obviously, if you're going off the root nature, that's not what my argument is. Like just like how you could say, like within your paradigm, God has three persons in one essence. You could say humans, certain humans are one person, they're one essence. You could compare using law, like you know what I mean. You could apply personhood to God just like how you do to humans. It doesn't mean that we're the same necessarily by nature.
I got you. So if the Godhead is doing something, the Godhead can do things as a tri-personal being that we can't. So in context of creation, God can create within the three persons and it still be tied to the one nature of God.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that's your paradigm, but the problem is, I'm trying to tell you that the Bible, in some parts, disagree with you on that statement, because it would be not three persons acting; it would be one person acting.
It wouldn't. So, for example,
it would.
You see,
that's the whole argument I've been trying to prove.
And I'll address it. So you see the Father creating. However, you also see the Spirit creating, and then you see the Son creating. But yet, the Bible says that God created all things. So, in the Trinitarian paradigm, there's no contradiction to that. You have one nature that is attributed to all creation, and that has been displayed through the three persons.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. Like I already said, I would agree with you. There are certain parts where you could argue for Jesus being God via the Bible. There's no problem with that. Like I already know that within your paradigm. You could also show parts where Jesus doesn't act like saying like certain things with it. Like I already know your Bible, like in certain parts would agree with your paradigm, with what you're saying, like these three persons like create. There's no problem with that. The problem is there are certain parts that would disagree. There are certain parts that say that it's three persons creating, and there are certain parts that would say it's one person creating.
That's not a contradiction. It doesn't
So
pose a contradiction.
this goes
because they all
back.
have the same
So
nature.
It would
so
be a
check in
contradiction
or
because
whatever
you
you're
can't
They all
have
have.
you can't.
I'll let you go
Wait,
after this, Tim. If
yeah,
they
yeah,
all
yeah.
have the same nature, there literally cannot be a contradiction. They have the same nature.
No, but the difference is personhood. It's the person that's acting. Now that's why I asked you: do persons act or nature or natures?
Yeah, but they're acting within the same nature, so there
No.
literally cannot be a
Okay.
contradiction.
Okay, so persons act within their nature, correct?
Yeah, every person has a nature.
Okay. And when I'm shooting a basketball, I'm referring to my personhood acting within
You
my
as
nature,
a
correct?
unipersonal,
Please, yes or no,
I'm
bro?
answering you. You as a unipersonal human being, when you're shooting a basketball, that is subject to Adam and Adam alone. In the context of Scripture, you see Scripture lays out three distinct persons.
Okay, I know it does. That's
So
not
it doesn't
like
pose a contradiction because God's
it's like
nature.
it's like you're going in my Quran and you're trying to show parts. I'm just bringing up other like obviously there's certain parts that would agree with you.
Right,
I'm trying to label out the parts that don't.
But
Listen,
you have to show how God is not tripersonal in Scripture. If you
Okay,
can't do that, you don't
I
have
got
an
you.
argument.
I got you. Watch this. So if the three persons, if they disagree with each other in any sense, could they be the same God?
If they disagreed in any sense, no, you'd have two separate gods.
And if they
Three
could,
separate gods.
okay, and if they could affirm different things, would that be separate gods? If they could affirm different things.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, I got you. If they could state something positively, however, all three can't state the same thing.
Can you give an example?
Okay, like if I say I'm let me give an example. It's like if I say I'm born in this certain country and you say, oh well, I'm born in this certain country. You could state something different. However, we would both disagree with each other within our nature. We are both like I'm born here, you're born there. It's not the same.
So,
do you get the example? Or
do you have an example
in
in Scripture where the three persons disagree with each other?
I mean, I haven't got to my argument yet, but I just need to clarify. That was my point.
No,
I need to clarify before I get to my argument.
I don't really understand your question, so that's why I'm asking. Do you have an example you can show in Scripture?
Okay, I got you. No, hold up. Do you know what the term affirm means?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Affirm is, you're confirming like a position, right? I affirm that Jesus is God. That's something that I, hold to. That's something that I would confirm.
Okay. And if someone else affirms a different thing, would that necessarily mean that that both you and the other person have different minds?
Different minds?
Yeah.
I would say we would have different wills. So like if you affirm that Jesus is not God, we would have different wills. Which would separate us as beings.
Would it make sense to say that we both don't have the same thoughts?
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. Now, can Jesus and the Father have the same thoughts?
They do have the same thoughts.
They do have the same thoughts. Okay. But since me and you, hold up. But since me and you affirm different things, we don't have the same thoughts, correct?
Affirm different things? Yeah, I'll say we would have different thoughts and wills.
Okay. However, just one more clarifier, and then I'll get to my point. However, the Father and the Son do have the same thoughts, correct?
Yeah, in their divine nature, yes.
Okay. Does Jesus affirm that he's the begetter or his begotten?
Does he affirm that he's the what?
Does Jesus affirm that he's begotten of the Father?
Yeah, he affirms that he's begotten of the Father.
Okay. Does he affirm that he took on flesh?
Yep.
Okay. Does the Father affirm that he's begotten from the Father?
No.
Okay. Does the Father affirm that he took on flesh?
No, it wasn't his role.
Okay. Now, since the Father cannot affirm that he took on flesh and the Son can affirm that he took on flesh, do they affirm different things?
Do they affirm? No, it still points to the Son.
Oh my God.
It still points to the Son. The reason why the Father can't.
We just like connected.
The reason why the Father can't affirm that is because that's true of the Son. So they're not an opposite. They're both affirming.
Yeah, they would still have the same thoughts.
They still have the same will and thought because it's the Son who took on flesh. That's why the Father can't affirm that.
But within, we'll see. But within their thoughts, within their thoughts about themselves, would you say it's fair for the Father to say that he is the Father?
The Father is the Father, yeah.
Okay, now within the thoughts of the Son, is it fair for the Son to say that he is the Father?
No, because he's not the Father.
Okay, so they could affirm different things within their thoughts about themselves, just like how me and you, we could affirm different things within our thoughts. Like, okay, I believe Jesus is a prophet, and he's one of the best to ever live. He was born of a virgin. However, you can't state a different thing within your thoughts, saying that he is God. That makes us different within our thoughts.
How does that separate him from having the same nature as a father?
Yeah, because if you have different thoughts, you necessarily aren't this like you could be inseparable.
How? If he's him,
What do you mean how? If you have different thoughts, that means you have
be,
different minds. You know that, right?
He doesn't have to be the Father to be God. So
Okay.
him affirming something that's true of himself, meaning that he's not the Father, still he's still intact with his divine nature. Just because he affirms that he's not the Father doesn't automatically mean now he's a separate God.
It does, because would you say if you affirm, okay, would you say if you have different thoughts, that means you have different minds?
Different thoughts?
Yes.
This is not necessarily a thought. It's just it's just what they are.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there's just this
Yeah,
weird
that's the thought
equivocation
about
of
their
like,
nature. That's
no, we're talking about persons. We're not talking about their nature. We're talking about the persons, right?
okay. That's the person.
Jesus-
Okay, yeah. No,
Jesus,
listen,
right.
listen.
So Jesus,
Hold up, bro.
Jesus
Hold up.
does-
Now
No,
you're
bro.
over talking. We got.
No, bro, I'm
equally,
answering
okay?
you. What are you talking? You just
I didn't even
asked
state
like
a
5
question.
different questions.
I didn't even give a question yet. Hold up.
Bro, you gave like
just
5 different questions.
No, I'm okay. Ignore the 5. Answer this one. Listen. Watch this. Now, follow the person, right? The person. If you're referring to his thoughts, okay, follow, because I got to talk slow because you can't track.
No, I'm tracking. Your arguments are not going anywhere.
Follow. Is it fair to say that if the thoughts of a person is different from another person via their thoughts, they have different minds? Is that fair to say?
It's not different. It's not different. Jesus does not have to be the Father to be God.
No, bro. It's not about having to be. It's about knowing about yourself.
Jesus affirming himself as the Son. The Father acknowledges him as the Son also. You would have a point if Jesus affirmed himself as the Son, and then the Father affirmed him as something else other than the Son. Then you would have a point.
Is the Father the Son? Is the Father the Son?
Hold on, you're not.
Is the Father the
listening to-
Son?
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Is the Father the Son?
Track what I'm saying. Track what I'm saying.
No, you just track. You just track
No.
yourself.
Track what I'm saying. Just for
like-
1 second. Don't try to.
And then
get your
they
gotcha
wonder why I
moment
cut
and
off.
Follow
bro,
the conversation.
Why I cut people off. Like, look,
Follow the conversation.
He just made a blunder.
This
and
is
I
the
can't
problem
attack it.
when we talk to Muslims. You guys don't really care about what we say. You're just trying to.
I won't speak because now you're just
Listen
gonna
to what I'm
I'll let
saying.
you talk.
Okay,
I'm not gonna
listen
let
to
you
what I'm
answer.
saying closely. You would have a point if Jesus affirmed himself as the Son and the Father affirmed him as anything other than the Son. Then you would have your got you moment. The issue that you have is that Jesus affirms himself as the Son and the Father affirms Jesus as the Son. They both are having the same affirmation about who the persons are. So there's no separation within them. Just because Jesus is not the Father does not take away from him being God. They both affirm the same thing about each other and about themselves and about each other.
Nope, not about themselves.
Bro, why are you?
You'll see. Watch. Just watch. Now, me and you are different. Listen, follow, please. I didn't cut you off, brother.
Yes, you did cut me off.
No,
did you hear anything that I said?
I just let you speak.
Okay, did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said?
Yes,
Repeat what I
said.
said. Repeat what I said.
Well, you were over talking, but I'll just
repeat what I said.
The main point. I'll just say the main point. You say that they affirm about each other the same things. Like the Son can affirm that the Father is the Father, and the Son and the Father can affirm that the Son is the Son. That's basically what you said, right?
So if the Father,
oh my God, bro, right? Is that what you said?
If the Father, that's not really all I said. The main point was that there is no separation because they affirm the same thing.
I don't care. Okay, now we'll see about that. Now listen, they don't affirm the same thing about themselves. There's a problem. Okay, now listen, me and you, is it fair? Just wait. Is it fair to say that me and you have different minds? That makes us different humans.
Can you just give an example of how they don't affirm the same thing about themselves?
Follow. You'll see.
Give an example. Give an example of how they do not affirm the same thing about themselves, please.
Yeah, I got you. Because I got you. Because to affirm is to state positively. The Father could state positively about himself that he is the Father. The Son cannot state positively about himself that he is the Father.
I got you.
That means wait. Don't cut me off. That means that they can affirm something about themselves that the other cannot affirm about themselves. That necessitates different minds because they have different thoughts about themselves. That's the problem.
doesn't.
I'm
It
talking
doesn't.
about
It doesn't
themselves.
necessitate
Go ahead.
It doesn't do
No,
that.
no, 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 no.
It
Let me hold on,
necessitates
hold on.
different persons.
It doesn't.
but-
It doesn't. Here,
Yeah.
hey,
It does.
Adam. Does Jesus affirm anything different about the Father being the Father?
I'm talking about themselves, not about
Can you answer
each
the
other.
question? Can you answer the
He's talking about
question?
each other. I'm talking about
Can
themselves.
you answer the question?
Okay, yeah.
Does he affirm anything different about the Father being the Father?
No.
So that means that the Father affirms himself to be the Father, and the Son affirms the Father to be the Father. Correct?
Sure, but can the Son
So
affirm
that,
about
so
himself
that,
that he's
so
the
that
Father?
shows
Can
you
the
that
Son
they are
affirm
not
about
separable. Thank you very much.
Okay, now
Thank
answer
you
the
very
question.
much.
Can the Son affirm about himself that he's
Thank
the
you
Father?
very much.
Can the Son
right.
affirm about himself that
Adam,
he's the Father?
Adam,
I
appreciate
got you, Rich.
Adam, will you
Can the
answer
Son
You got
affirm
it,
about
Tim.
himself
Yeah,
that
you
he's the
just
Father?
Yeah, I got you, Rich. Okay,
Can the
Chet,
Son affirm
whatever
about
your name
himself that
is.
he's the Father?
Yeah, okay,
Can the Son
Check.
affirm about himself that
Can
he's the
I
Father?
can I
No,
ask him
no,
about
world.
Islam
We
now?
can't just let him. We can't
He's
just let
gonna
him
run from
run.
Islam. Watch him
We
running
can't
from
just let
Islam.
him run. Can the Father affirm about himself?
No,
about-
he
It's
did
been
his
going on
part. I was going to ask
he's
you a
running.
question.
30,
That's
40
what he's
minutes.
doing.
I was going to ask
So
you a
can the
question.
Father?
Sorry
Yeah,
to jump
I-
that guy. I'm just going to sleep, and I knew that there was no way that I could end that
So-
conversation other
so
than dropping
here-
him. So let me apologize to him for dropping him solely out of the fact that I'm trying to go to sleep, and y'all were all in it, and I just I had to end it. So you were going to say something, Tim, and then I'm going to.
Yeah, I mean, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I wanted to round off our original discussion. I want to say this for the audience real fast. So this is purely for the edification of everyone listening. There is no logical contradiction in saying that you can have two persons with two distinct thoughts, and yet they have one mind. There's not a single contradiction that arises from that. Nothing necessarily follows from that. And what I wanted him to do is I want him to give a formal argument showing that derivation. But he's gone now. But for everyone listening, that's perfectly fine. And that's been the Trinitarian view. But I would love to see that contradiction, but he didn't show that contradiction.
Because it doesn't exist. There is no contradiction. He couldn't show it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, sweet. Man, thank y'all so much for being in the chat. 41,000 likes. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of taps. And so Faith Logic, shout out to you. He said he did like 12,000. My gosh. It's like a quarter
Hey,
of them.
Hey, shout out to Rich though, dude. Rich, you're on fire, bro. That was lit.
Yeah,
That was
that's
lit.
fun. One day I will care about metaphysics. I don't know what's gonna have to happen in my life for that to occur. I'm just
Don't
like
worry,
y'all are
Cody.
talking, and I'm like slowly just like who cares? Who cares about the thoughts of the Father and the Son? Like
So Coley, that's your problem,
Yeah,
right?
that's my problem.
Which is you are fascinated by Islam. Islam is literally the most boring and uninteresting religion I've ever stumbled upon in my life.
That's why I love Coley, because he can put up with it. So let him. He'll take care of Islam. We'll take care of the interfaith.
There we go.
Physics,
There
we'll
we
take
go.
care of all of
It's,
that.
then that's what I was gonna say. It's just different things, Coley. You're able to get down with the dawa. I don't got time for it, bro. But if you want to talk philosophy, if you want to talk indexicals, I'm there.
I'm just like, all right, bro, show me Muhammad in the Bible. Let's talk about that, dog.
Well, the other thing is that he runs from talking about Islam. He'll always say, I will talk about it, and then he'll take the whole conversation on the Christian side for an hour, but he'll always run from Islam.
Well,
so that's why I wanted to get him on that and see if he wanted to do a reverse on him.
It's all good. Well, thanks y'all.
But
Thank
it
y'all
is
for
what it
hopping
is.
up. I told myself I'd get off at 10. It's 10:56. So I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it. Appreciate everybody watching. All I have to say to you is God bless and good night. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, or if you're already hanging out on Wednesday, and enjoy it. Appreciate y'all hopping up here and chatting.
Thanks for having us
on TikTok. So peace out, fellas.
All right.
Peace.
YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching. You know, we're just I've got some stuff in the works for YouTube. We're gonna keep this thing going. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but it just takes time. And so yeah, it's crazy. You say the Gospels are anonymous. The original texts don't name the authors. That's not true. Read Jesus and the Eyewitnesses. I'm too tired actually to even engage that. So thank you for watching. Enjoy y'all's Tuesday night. Man, stay blessed. Peace.